Well, it's official, old buddy. Well, it has been.
What are you talking about? What did that guy tell you?
Told me the goddamn truth is what he told me.
Tonight on our last Movie About Movies episode, we're talking about the last Quentin Tarantino movie to be released back in 2019. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino's first film to be released without the Weinsteins, starring a massive cast. It was another one of Tarantino's revisionist history projects.
You believe everything's all right?
Not exactly.
This was a mistake. You should leave.
Way ahead of you.
George isn't blind! You're the blind one!
After Django Unchained and Inglourious Basterds told stories about real moments of history, the antebellum South of World War II, but completely changed up the results. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a revisionist history of the Manson murders, starring Leonardo DiCaprio as Rick Dalton, a washed-up has-been TV Western star whose TV and movie career in Hollywood seems to be coming to an end at the end of the 1960s, and Brad Pitt as his driver and stunt double Cliff Booth, who, like Robert Wagner, is said to have killed his wife on a boat and gotten away with it.
Here, put these on. Don't cry in front of the Mexicans.
Rick Dalton lives next door to Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate, played by Margot Robbie, and her friends Jay Sebring, played by Emile Hirsch, Abigail Folger, played by the Love Witch Samantha Robinson, and Wojciech, played by Costa Ronan. The Manson family is pretty huge. There's many actors and actresses who would go on to be huge stars, including Austin Butler, Sydney Sweeney, Mikey Madison, Maya Hawke, Harley Quinn Smith, and Margaret Qualley, Lena Dunham, and Dakota Fanning. Other big appearances include Al Pacino, Bruce Dern, Timothy Olyphant, Kurt Russell, Zoe Bell, and Mike Moe as Bruce Lee, and Damian Lewis as Steve McQueen. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was the subject of a bidding war back in 2017, with Sony eventually beating out Warner Brothers, Universal, Paramount, Annapurna, and Lionsgate. Tarantino said that he wanted his jumping-off point to be his memory of LA as a child, sitting in his stepfather's Volkswagen, and the first shot he kind of came up with was a shot looking up at Cliff while he's driving past the Earl Shive. Tarantino spent months developing the story as a novel before writing the screenplay, calling it his highly personal love letter to LA.
Look, I never had much of a career to speak of, so I can't say I really know how you feel.
What are you talking about? You're a stunt double. Come on now. Shit.
Rick, I'm your driver, man. I'm your gopher. I'm not complaining, man. I like driving you around. I like doing shit around the house sitting in the Hollywood Hills when you're gone.
Tarantino also claimed that the initial idea for the Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth characters came from an actual actor who asked him if he could hire a stunt double for the gig, too. Since these guys were older, the stunt double no longer really passed for him, but Tarantino said you could tell he once did, and that got him thinking about the relationship between an actor and his stunt double. And he thought about putting these guys on Cielo Drive next to the Polanskis in 1969 at the time of the Manson murders. Tarantino was trying hard to think of a story for these guys to follow before deciding it didn't need to be a story. We could just follow these characters around for a few days. The only time we're not following either Rick or Cliff or Sharon Tate around as they go about their day is a 6-month gap where Rick and Cliff go to Rome for Rick to star in spaghetti westerns. Rick works for the Italian filmmaker Sergio Corbucci, who made the original Django. Tarantino's 2012 Django Unchained was a homage to that film and even had a cameo from Franco Nero, who played the original Django.
What's your name?
Django.
Can you spell it?
D-J-A-N-G-O. The D is silent.
I know.
And Sharon realized that she's pregnant leading up to the day of the Manson murders. Recreating some of the locations was tougher than others. The Playboy Mansion scene was filmed at the actual Playboy Mansion, which is now owned by a private owner. But Spawn Ranch has since burned down, and the Cielo Drive house was demolished. The Spawn Ranch scene was filmed on the Corrigan Movie Ranch in Simi Valley, and Tarantino's location scouts found a Universal City cul-de-sac, as well as separate locations in LA for the interior and exterior. The Van Nuys Drive-In Theater was shot at the Paramount Drive-In Theater. The Lancer scenes were shot on a Universal backlot. Two of the most controversial parts of the film were a scene where Cliff Booth throws Bruce Lee roughly into a car during a fight, which definitely showcases Cliff's abilities even as he ages to use brute strength, which comes up multiple times in the film, but that was considered disrespectful to the legacy of Bruce Lee as a martial artist. Also, the ending, which has the Manson murderers going to the wrong address. Instead of the Polanski Tate house, they show up at Rick Dalton's while Cliff Booth and Rick's new Italian wife, Francesca, are there, leading to all three of the Manson family members getting violently killed instead of doing any killing, erasing the culturally traumatic event of the Sharon Tate murder along with their friends, which was called the event that ended the 60s, although the Once Upon a Time definitely sets up the audience for this movie kind of being a fairy tale.
Oh. But... Oh, I know you. I know all three of you. Yeah, Spawn Ranch. Spawn Ranch, yeah. Woo!
Before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Then hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Super chats are now open. If you have any pressing questions, send us a super chat, which helps me maintain the expenses for the show, which I am obligated by the rules of the Geneva Convention to stop everything and ask the panel. Another way to help us out is to become a patron and give us money every month. In exchange, you get access to all of our after parties, bonus content, and we'll tell you even more movies we watched recently. Patreon.com/Movie Night Extra. We have a Movie Night Extravaganza Discord. There's an invite link in the episode description, and we have a Letterboxd HQ account. So those are 2 more places to follow along with us. Okay, let me introduce the illustrious panel. We are live right now on This Space. If you aren't following them, join This Space TV on YouTube. Link below. Conan Neutron is the co-host and senior producer for Movie Night Extravaganza, host of Protonic Reversal, an independent Film Critics of America film critic, and the frontman for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Check out his music at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Kristina Oakes is a co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, a streamer on Twitch, twitch.tv/cosmopolitics, a host at This Space, hosting Kristina's Corner, and is across social media at Cosmopolitics and on Letterboxd at Kristina. Kev Riley is the co-host of the Austin Danger podcast and previously hosted Ammonite Movie Night. I, of course, am your host, who's currently crying in front of the Mexicans, Forrest Miller. It's official, old buddy. I'm a has-been.
It's such a throwaway line, but it does work very well.
Yeah, I when I worked for Ben on Give Them an Argument, like he would sometimes just be like, as they said, don't cry in front of the Mexicans. He would just throw that out there sometimes.
Kev, welcome back to the show, man. It's great to have you.
Thanks so much. Great to be here.
I rewatched all the Austin Powers movies recently, so that's been fun.
Wow. Did you think he was going to test you or something? I mean,
but I was like, I haven't watched those movies in a while, so
I like that the Roman Polanski created by Tarantino is just dressed like Austin Powers the entire movie.
And it's totally not a rapist because those events did not take place yet, or they might never in this movie, considering Sharon Tate's still alive in this. So
considering
he's like, hey, she's like, hey, get away from that 13-year-old, and he's like, oh man, and then that's the whole. Whole
and
so that there's something to be said for anytime you get speculative history, right? And I love that Inglourious Basterds was not interested in this at all. Yeah. But like, well, what would happen like 20 years from now? Because you mentioned something in the intro, Forrest, about that murder being like what to a lot of people ended the 60s, like right, the innocent era of the 60s. So if that didn't happen, all right, well, what then, right?
Reagan probably wouldn't be president.
Exactly.
Right-wing backlash probably wouldn't have happened.
It just looks like the Jetsons suddenly. It's like, whoa, okay, that was the one thing, huh? Well, wild.
I'm not saying nobody.
We have a sassy robot maid. Thank you.
I'm not saying nobody talks about the Manson murders. Obviously, it's a cultural event, but it is like in the same way that something like the Kennedy assassination, going to the moon, like Vietnam, Watergate, like in the same vein as that. But
there was like an innocence that got destroyed.
It feels far less discussed than that. This moment where. And I was reading a book about the Manson murders like a couple years ago that kind of made this point, but like people were just hitchhike and it was fine. Like it was fine, right? Like there wasn't that
this
view
is
of
my mom all the time. She's like, back in my day, we used to hitchhike. We used to just walk everywhere. Yeah. When the streetlights came on, that's when we had to go home.
And like, suddenly it dawned on people. Like hitchhikers obviously would be afraid that maybe if they got in the car, the person
that's almost got murdered while hitchhiking. So
people that are hitchhiking, but there wasn't like this feeling necessarily that like the person getting in your car might turn out to be like this satanic force that ruins your life. In the same way that after the Manson murders, people like, I don't think we should pick up people just on the highway anymore, even if they're beautiful women, which is like the Siren song.
And maybe if a guy
right. Can I just say that might be true, but only if they didn't see The Hitcher by Ida Lupino in 1953. Thank you very much. Great movie.
But also too, I remember in psychology class, we're like, would you take a ride from a man by himself, or is he in a nice SUV with a wife and a kid in the back seat? And I'm like, neither. You still don't know.
Yeah, it's
I'll
also
do none of those things. Yeah,
it was definitely the curdling of this notion that was already, I think, curdling for a lot of people, where it's like the summer of love, right? And everyone's kind of pre-love moment, and even like Life magazine, or like
Francisco,
something like Reader's Digest, right? That like the cultural arbiters, I guess, of our society at that point. Even they were trying to spin the summer of love and Woodstock and all these different things in a certain way that it's like, well, this is kind of the new, like, this is the new model, right? Like, these hippies are not necessarily like, these are just the kids now. And this kind of definitely curdled that thing as a which already was happening, because at the time people had switched from doing heroin and like downers and like all these different weird drugs. They switched to speed, which things got very, very weird in San Francisco and in Oakland and in LA, like all of these areas that were people were doing free love and they loved acid and they were all kind of coming together as this one thing. That was instantly kind of curdling, because people were all of a sudden popping speed, and speed turned things violent, like pretty much automatically, which is where Charles Manson kind of burst.
Yeah, a lot of truck drivers were given speed to handle, driving 24/7, and my uncle, he got very paranoid.
Also, they gave it to and I think they still did up till like pretty recently. They give it to pilots. Pilots would just be popping speed, because it's like, if you're flying somewhere. I mean, I think it's terrible because it doesn't improve your cognitive ability, right? It improves your reaction to stuff. But they were just like, oh well, in case you get sleepy on the plane, take this speed.
Yeah, but I think Altamont also, that's another like cultural touchstone of like
Altamont Speedway. Was that what the Hell's Angels and the Rolling Stones?
Which my dad was at, by the way, and he's like, he was at it, and like he's like, and I saw like things starting to get weird, and I got the hell out of there.
Having a notorious biker gang who's killed people, Rolling Stone, not a good idea of a security,
Well, according to him, he was also peaking on mushrooms, and it was not also the best time for him.
He wasn't having fun either way.
Probably saved him in some way.
In some, I was like, I'm kind of glad you did.
This bad trip, man. I gotta get out of here.
There was like an obsession after Altamont with like trying to understand the Hells Angels, and there was the whole Hunter S. Thompson thing, where Hunter S. Thompson went underground with them and was writing all these articles for Rolling Stone, where he's like, I'm underground right now with them, and then multiple of them tried to kill Hunter S. Thompson, and then he was like, oh, maybe I'm getting out of here.
Right. So that's a lot of we'll call it context, right, for why this is sort of a moment that a film lover, which is what Quentin Tarantino is, as well as a filmmaker, might look at this as like a pivotal moment of like loss of innocence, but also changing of the guard. This is before you get sort of like the new Hollywood, Bogdanovich and so on, and all that stuff happening. And when you really start to get into a modern auteur thing, from a filmmaking perspective, but the idea of it being that the Leonardo DiCaprio character and the Cliff Booth character, they're not real. But they're archetypical. They're based on people more or less that those things were happening right now.
Some of their contemporaries, like Steve McQueen, they're very much like some of those actors who kind of really, their careers started like in the early to mid 60s, maybe the 50s as well. They're getting older, and like you said, Conan, it's before the new age of Hollywood. With the Scorseses and the Coppolas. Yeah.
Which is funny for us to say that now, considering that those are the old farts now. But then that also leads me.
The boomers.
That also leads me to something that Kev, you and I were talking about, it being like, it's crazy how this movie has basically every young hot actor that's in like every movie now. They're all in here. So you have like the old guard, and you have sort of the new guard narratively, and then you have them in actual careers as well. I think that's really interesting. I'd like you to speak to that.
Yeah, I have a conspiracy theory that this is an autobiographical movie, probably his most autobiographical. I think this is a movie about a guy who's reaching the end of his career, and seeing that and feeling that and having that be reflected through the art in a way that you don't usually see for Quentin Tarantino, because he's usually filtering it through 5 or 6 different, like a Shaw Brothers pastiche here, setting the tone for music videos for the next 10 years there, stuff like that. This is a movie about a guy who would certainly like to think that he has a future, but he knows that his last film is coming. So he wrote a fairy tale about that feeling, about trying to avoid horrible things that.
I mean, it's also though like a self-imposed last movie, which is interesting because like in Rick Dalton's case throughout this, I mean, I'm just saying like in Rick Dalton's case, right? Like he's not he doesn't have any control over what his last movie is. They're just like kind of slowly phasing him out.
He's not the maker. Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it also occurs to me though, if this had been Quentin Tarantino's last movie, which I don't know, maybe it still will be. I'll talk so far. Would be pretty good. Be a pretty good capstone because it is really kind of a love letter to old Hollywood and filmmaking and like a certain sanguine ennui parts of creativity and aging and it's...
I mean, also for men in Hollywood too, because if this movie was about 2 female characters, they would be like 33 and already out the door, you know?
And already turning invisible.
Yeah, because like a lot of people today complain like, oh, I'm tired of seeing Zendaya, I'm tired of seeing Anya Taylor-Joy, I'm tired of seeing Austin Butler. I'm like, guys, how would you feel being in the 1930s and seeing Clark Gable and everything, Norma Shearer, Joan Crawford? Like I'm like it's a thing. It's some actors. Every generation has a group of actors that are hot. They get cast everything, but unfortunately, in the era of social media, sometimes that now matters more than actual talent.
It turns over quicker too.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Like
some actors can make it. Sometimes these days they go through highs and lows. Maybe people like Jennifer Lawrence or people write her off or Anne Hathaway off because they just don't like their personality for some reason. Like stupid stuff like that. But like every few years or so, there's always a group of actors that are in everything, critically acclaimed movies, and it's come to a point where people are tired of seeing them and everything. I'm like, but it's just part of Hollywood. It's always been like that. And the fact that people can't comprehend that, I'm like, again, imagine you're in the 1930s and you're like, oh, here's another Joan Crawford, Clark Gable romantic comedy. Guess I'll see that.
Well, we did cover Sunset Boulevard at the jump of this month, so I mean, I think we covered that pretty adequately.
It's at the same time though, right? Like having this large group of like new actors. Like there's also he tried to cast as many people as he can from this, like, who started in the 60s, right? Like I mean, Kurt Russell has a connection to the this time period. Right. Al Pacino obviously has a connection to this time period. He has I mean, Bruce Dern, but Bruce Dern's character was originally like that wasn't supposed to be Bruce Dern. Like they had
it was who was it supposed to be? It was something different, right? It was
it was Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds was originally supposed to be, and he was cast.
Interesting.
And he showed up, and he was at he was at the early reads, but he passed away in early 2018. I think in February 2018. Burt Reynolds didn't get to be in this, and obviously Bruce Dern was, he was great in The Hateful Eight, so he already is in the kind of this Tarantino milieu. But it's like, so they were trying to pick as many people as they can who had like an organic connection to play these like kind of has-been actors, and then the people that are kind of coming up in the way that those actors would have been at this time are the new generation of actors that are they're all Manson.
But also too, Leonardo DiCaprio, and despite everything that's come out about Brad Pitt in regards to him, abusing his kids, he's still very much well regarded in Hollywood, and people think that he's done everything he could to squander Angelina Jolie's chances with her career trying to be revived, So it's like, again, there's if it's male versus female, I don't think this movie would be very much different. They focus on 2 female actresses who are like in their early 30s as opposed to men who are well into their 40s and 50s, especially a Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, who Leonardo probably going to get a second Oscar in a few months, maybe.
So that's a lot of stuff to throw out there, and I want to get Kev's take on some of it, but also things can happen fast. Think of like Pedro Pascal went from being like, oh, I love that guy, you never see him, to being like, oh, he's ubiquitous. Now it's Josh O'Connor. Josh O'Connor's been like 5 movies I've seen this month. Where it's like, oh my god, this guy was like nowhere. This is only
sometimes some people like certain things just happen to fall into place in the right time. That's
So
anyway,
Kev, what do you think about literally the last 20 minutes of the show?
Okay, great question. A couple things. Number one, yes, totally agree. The choice of the ensemble of the kids as the Manson kids was awesome. Few things better than to come back to this movie after a few years and just see Honora eat shit after getting a can of beans thrown at her face. Super funny. Right? Super funny.
She's so great in that scene. I'm sure we'll get to it later, but oh my god.
I think that plays in to my theory, though.
My first, a fucking pussy.
Right before this, like a year or something before this, and I've said this a million times on the show, but my first experience seeing Mikey Madison in anything was Better Things, which is the Pamela Alden show where she plays Pamela Alden's daughter. And now with Marty Supreme and I Love LA and like that kind of stuff, Pamela Alden's actual daughter, Odessa, like she's now making a name for herself.
She's went from now she's in everything, right? But
she went from being a dorky little girl with curly hair to a very, very exotic looking young woman wearing a wig. And and everyone's like, what? People are starting to realize that white women do wear wigs, but also too, I forgot that everyone's like, oh, it's Bobby Hill's daughter. I'm like, no, bitch, that's Dolores in Grease too. To me, like.
All right, Kev, you want to continue that point then?
Yeah, I mean, so that's cool, right? And it also speaks to the greater themes in my mind of like, we're looking to the future. We're looking to these kids. He had a really great eye for this cast. Also, so that's one thing. The other thing is people getting sick of people. I can't help people's attention spans, right? And their attitudes and where that comes from, right? But if I had to watch an Instagram reel of Charlie Chaplin every other minute for my entire life, I feel like I'd get sick of the guy.
Yo,
right?
Charlie Chaplin would kill it on reels, though. He really would.
Destroy on reels. He would destroy him and Groucho Marx. Are you kidding me?
Hey, if they made Wicked the musical movie in the 1950s or 40s during the he would be the wizard,
It's funny that they did the thing where people kept on making. I mean, they're still doing this, but they kept on bringing up the AI Hitler speeches where they translated it into English, and I think to fight that, they started putting out the Chaplin speech from the Great Dictator.
From Great Dictator, sure.
Yeah, where it's like his like great kind of like quasi populist socialist speech at the end of the movie.
Right, which we did on this show, actually, right?
Yeah,
we did that. Yeah, we did.
I mean, it's a great speech, but it's funny that like around the same
Yeah.
time that they were like, "Oh, this is what Hitler would sound like in English." They're like, "Let's get Chaplin out there again."
Before we invoke Godwin's law, let's hear the rest of that, Kev. Come on.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Godwin's
so
law.
I don't
everybody.
know. I feel like people are sick of these people because they're forced to see them all the time. There's not a lot of mystery involved. It's just like you're constantly pinging your brain that in that social media way. You didn't want to be on Chaplin Tumblr in the 20s. Listen, all love and respect to Tumblr users. I don't know, man. Great Depression era Tumblr.
A lot of
there's those terms of services are
a lot of 16-year-old girls on this Tumblr.
Hey, that's where do you think?
I'd say too soon, but it's been over 100 years, so it really hasn't been.
Anyway,
All right,
I mean, all that is it's a social media brain rot thing. But all this to say, brilliant choice of the young ensemble. Lena Dunham.
I forgot Lena Dunham was in this. Yeah,
yeah. After shit came out about her too, and I'm like, oof.
Okay. Yeah, well,
Tarantino,
shit didn't come out about her. She wrote a book where she put all of her stuff out there. But
yeah, it's like
this was like right before I don't remember what
girls.
No, I don't remember what problem. Like she has a medical condition now where she's gained like a significant amount of weight because of some. I can't remember if it's a thyroid issue or like
I think it's hypothyroidism.
Yeah, so this was like right as that began, and then she became completely reclusive because of that.
Yeah, I also like the fact that like Cass Elliot, Michelle Phillips, they're featured in this movie. I'm a huge Mamas and Papas fan. Like, so
well, and it's not. So that's a good point, Kristina, because it's not just like the super A-list stars, right? You have like all of the the sort of
people who made the
gadflies.
music
You have
of
the
that
people,
time.
yeah, and it's not just actors; it's musicians, other creative people that were all hanging out together, that were all being social and being part of this community and sort of bouillabaisse, if you will, of things that were happening at the time. And it's well done. It's well done as an ensemble. And it's funny that the Leo meme comes from this movie because you can Leo meme every like 3 minutes and be like, oh, that's this one, that's that one. Oh my god!
You could rewatch that movie and be like, oh, I know that actor now.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that.
Yeah.
I also think it's so funny to do Battle of Algiers up on one panel, Leo meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh,
down the other panel.
The multi-layered meme. I like it. Yeah.
I think that the use of like all of these stars from this time and not so big stars but people in kind of this milieu is interesting. I didn't realize this until I was kind of doing background of this. Steve McQueen was actually supposed to be at Sharon Tate and like Polanski's house, which Polanski was obviously off in Europe at the time, but Steve McQueen was supposed to be there that night, and he decided to leave and go get some pussy somewhere else or whatever. I think it was with his future wife, but at the time it was like his
survivor's guilt.
At the time it was like his not even girlfriend, like some kind of like situationship kind of thing, and he ended up marrying the girl afterwards but he was like he was on Manson's hit list because Manson was following Steve McQueen around trying to force a script, like a screenplay onto him that he had written, because he's obviously following musicians around trying to get them to listen to his music, and he's following
Dennis Wilson, the Beach Boys. That used to be his house.
These insane screenplays. So he was trying to force Steve McQueen to read his screenplay that he had written, and he was mailing it to him, and so he started following him around. Steve McQueen turned around, just finally got like so sick of it that he decked Manson in the face outside of a studio, which is something that like I think if you knew who Manson was, you probably like. But I think he thought of it as like just the guy harassing him. So when Charles Manson went out and like wrote his whole hit list out, like I'm gonna kill all these people, Steve McQueen's name was at the top, and he was supposed to be at the house that night. So in like for the rest of his life, which he only lived until like 1980, I think, because he had he smoked himself to death with too many
he lived a lot of life.
but
he for the rest of his life he had the survivor's guilt, and he was like if I had Mark Wahlberg basically, he's like
you know what
there.
Conan, we were basically that. You know what's so funny though is that imagine if someone had given Charles Manson a shot. You know, like where would we be today?
Well, we did. Well, I mean, the Beach Boys recorded. I mean,
but
there's a great episode of A History of Rock Music and 1001 Songs that's basically about this, and I highly recommend it. And it's very long, but you at the end of it, you're like, I could hear way more of that, and it would be interesting. And I don't want to. I mean, there's so much to talk about with this movie, but so it's obviously notable because if you think about like even though he's barely in the movie, he's the primary antagonist of like what is ostensibly a Howard Hawks style hangout movie, which Quentin Tarantino excels at. But I think that it's notable because you end up in a situation where it makes sense that how the actual real Charles Manson had these influence over people. You see kind of like the panoply of it, right? And like not the least of which is, and I'm sure we'll get into it when we run through the plot, but Maya Hawke's character just bailing. Just leaving with the car, which is like, girl, good on you. And do you think they might scrub the mission at that point? But yeah, they're all high, so obviously, and like, I don't know, I guess we're already here. Might as well kill some people.
I mean, they already knew the house. They're like, oh, Dennis Wilson probably still lives here. We know this house. Turns out not really.
It was
drug logic.
It was Dennis Wilson, but there's also another guy who had taken over the house after Dennis Wilson that he was looking for. I really recommend Chaos: Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the '60s by Tom O'Neill, which they turned into a Netflix documentary, which Tom O'Neill didn't really have anything to do with, but he literally tried to solve it. He tried to solve the background behind it. Didn't end up doing it. I think he's writing another book, but he actually managed to go to all of these places and catch up. It took him, I think, like 30 years to write this book, and he managed to like really confront a lot of the people that were involved in it and try to get more information and like pulled on all these different threads and kind of went insane in the process of doing this. Like even went to even talked to Charles Manson in prison, and he does a really good it's a really good double TrueAnon episode where he's talking to them about the process of the book, and he talks about how he saw Manson. I think he like offended Manson at one point, and Manson wouldn't see him anymore.
Forrest, you weren't here, but I was talking to Conan Kemp about how I wrote to Leslie Van Houten and Patricia Kronwinkel wanted their perspectives on how people idolize them. And they basically said, they both told me like in their own, like, we do not like it. We don't like being told that what we did was a good thing. We took lives. We took innocent lives. We killed we slaughtered a baby who wasn't. She was begging us. Like Patricia was like, Kristina, you know what I'm saying? She was begging that we take her and let her give birth to the baby and then kill her. Like, that's how desperate she was. And we took that from her. And it's like, so she's like, she hates when she get like fan mail, it's like,
yeah. And here they are right now. We're bringing them on stream. No, I'm kidding.
So,
well, we can,
Tex Watson is also.
Sorry, I had to lighten that up somehow. That was just brutal.
Tex Watson is also still alive. He's like 80 now, but he in like the 80s, I think he became an evangelical. Yeah, evangelical Christian, and he started his own like service of like trying to minister to people as an evangelical Christian in prison. And it's like,
can I just say where like, he's like, no, it's something dumber, like what is like the name thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, great.
But I feel like there are some people. I feel like there are some people with like who are just kind of naturally built to be like cult followers. You know what I mean? Like it's just like if they're in a milieu kind of, and I've met people like that. Like if they're in a milieu where that's kind of taking place, like they're definitely going into the cult. You know what I mean? It's like he feels like Manson to evangelical Christianity feels like that's like a straight line. Like
yeah, it's just a different savior, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to.
But I got a synopsis.
Well, Kev, do you want to finish off what you were talking about there? Or
I don't even remember where I was, to be quite honest with you. The kids are all right. It's going to be okay.
All right. Yeah.
Margaret Qualley, awesome.
Yeah.
And she's kind of, I mean, like, I feel like there's there's multiple dynamics because there's like Dakota Fanning and Lena Dunham, who obviously were very like they were well known at this point and established. But like Margaret Qualley had been in The Nice Guys, right? Like that was her big.
It was what she had been known for. If she was known, that was what she was known for.
Yeah. But it's like a lot of these other. I mean, like Austin Butler, obviously, and City Sweetie. Like I hadn't heard of them at this point. Like I know, because I didn't watch Euphoria or anything like that. Like
I also saw Margaret Qualley. I think Fosse Verdon came out the same year about Bob Fosse when Verdon. She played Anne Reiking, who was also the second muse of Bob Fosse. Was very I was a huge fan of Anne Reiking's too. So I was like, oh, she's got the voice down like that. Like I was like, this girl's got talent. I can see it.
I didn't know any of them by name, but again, just like you, Forrest, I did not watch Euphoria. So I mean,
all this was missing with Zendaya.
Euphoria.
Wow.
There it is.
But in February 1969, Hollywood actor Rick Dalton, Leonardo DiCaprio, former star of 1950s Western television series Bounty Law, laments to his best friend and former stunt double, Cliff Booth, that his career is over. Dalton got
say they sound like porn star names, by the way. Like they
do.
Just, I was like, wait a minute.
A little bit. Dalton got Bounty Law canceled by the networks as he wanted a movie career. Dalton had his driving license taken away for too many drunk driving tickets, and so Booth drives him everywhere now. Dalton,
So the idea of the Western show, like the long running beloved Western show, like that was absolutely a thing around this time. I think they did a great job of making it seem naturalistic while not being like overblown. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of them, right? Branded and Big Lebowski is another example of where it's like, okay, that's it's like the fake Western show. There was like a bunch of them because it was like the top tier ones, and there were other ones, and they just ran because people wanted to see them. And he wants a film career, so he's at this creative juncture, right, where it's like, okay, like he's having a meeting, he has his own personal idea of what he wants to do or what he should be doing, and meanwhile, his best buddy is basically like, dude, what are you talking about? You got it made. Like, it's a little later on, but he was like, go make movies in Italy. Sounds pretty good to me, man. Like, no one's asking me to do anything, which is kind of a good point because it is absolutely like a privileged position to be like, well, I'm not getting the kind of things I want. It's like, well, you're a working actor, though, right? Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here?
Money is more important in those days. I would think, but like, if I'm able to do go and stay in Italy, like being paid to stay, like, come on.
Yeah. So and we'll get to that later on, but
For a comparison, probably the biggest one besides Bonanza that came out, Gunsmoke, 20 seasons.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I mean, back then, TV shows used to run, man.
Yeah, which is funny.
Right.
It's funny that like the best lesson I think that the British television took from us is like they're like, no, you get like two series as they call them, or 3 series at most, and like. Yeah. And then like you're not doing like I mean, besides Doctor Who, right? But then
that's the exception proves the rule. I mean, extras would have been insufferable if it went 20 seasons, and I love that show, you know.
Or even like especially like to like a good example. Also, soap operas were very popular back then, and they ran every day. Still, some are still going.
Right.
You know, even after they got canceled.
The Office, right? Like the British version of The Office is 2 series. And they're like, we're gonna stop it there.
And a special.
And a special.
The American, but the American one just keeps going.
Outlasted.
People
the American one
forgot it was
didn't get good until the 2nd season. That's a whole separate conversation, by the way.
Same with Parks and Rec.
Clearly should have ended when Steve Carell left. But anyway, that's an entirely separate conversation. So he's taking these meetings at the restaurant, you know. And I've forgotten how much setup you get. Like you see a little bit of the show, and you're like, okay, what is it? This is like I'd forgotten all of this like beginning stuff because there's so much movie here.
Tarantino, by the way, is the voice of Bounty Law, which I didn't register that like the first because he does a voice, and I think they probably adapted or whatever because it doesn't sound like he's not like Bounty Law. Let's get Bounty Law.
Bounty Law. Did he record all that from like Tel Aviv or something? Like,
it's Paul Dano, star of Bounty Law.
Hey everybody.
Dalton has lunch with producer and agent Marvin Schwartz, who makes Dalton realize that playing a guest negative role in new network shows is going to ruin his career. Marvin says that the networks are playing an old trick, and while Dalton thinks his guest character is getting beaten up by the hero of the new show, the audience perceives that Dalton's character from Bounty Law is getting beaten up by the hero of the new show. This would eventually lead to the end of Dalton's career as a leading man. Marvin wants Dalton to star in westerns in Italy. I don't know.
So being typecast, basically, like being typecast as like the disposable villain. Sure.
I mean, typecasting could go one or two ways. I mean, there are certain people that are like, yeah, I'm a genre actor. Like I thrive. Like
oh yeah.
Like Bill Skarsgård. Like he's good at some of his drama, but they don't do as well as when he's doing like a Nosferatu, Pennywise.
This is because of
Look
when
at Danny Trejo. He's happy just to be working. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Or Eric Roberts,
like
who's in every
Eric
movie.
Roberts. Yeah.
Eric Roberts statistically in every single movie ever made, and he's standing in the corner right now.
Yeah, he's actually on the screen.
Dad,
you can't even.
I think Eric Roberts has like the most acting credits of an actor ever.
Yeah. He just likes to work. Where's the filming? Great, I'm glad.
I was in the third Centipede movie.
As of this year, I'm pretty sure within the last few months, he got that designation. At least American. I think the most credits of any American like Hollywood actor, because I think there's some like like Japanese and like Korean actors that
Eric
have
Roberts
been in
chat right
so
now.
many things. Yeah.
Huge fan of your daughter. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I don't understand. Like, I mean, some people hate me. Like, I think a good example would be like Aubrey Plaza. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, she's April Ludgate. She's gonna be April Ludgate. Everything she does." And then you see her in Legion and Emily the Criminal and Acts All Along.
But she's just doing like the Brad Pitt thing of like, I'm just gonna do stuff that interests me. That like, I think it's cool.
Great. Or even like British actors, like Dan Stevens. He's like, okay, I did Downton Abbey. I did the British series stuff, period pieces. I'm gonna do some crazy shit too, and it's worked. But he doesn't want to be.
I think this is
famous.
But here's the thing: think about the era that this is in, and being like typecast as like you're the guy that the hero punches. When you before were the lead, you were the guy. You were like the one
and
that
also
everybody thought about.
Like we've talked about this a bunch of times, but the difference between I mean, you see it in this movie, like TV and film has like a hard line between the two.
Huge dividing
line. You know, like Rick Dalton basically deciding, oh, I want to go from from television where I'm a huge star to movies. He fails at that, and then he's pushed back into television. And he's being typecast in a very specific way where it's like, we saw you in this show and now you're getting the shit beaten out of you on pretty much every show. Like FBI, like he's literally getting the shit beaten out of him in like shows
like
that
when people tried, to go from silent film to talkies. It just there was not some it didn't work. You know, or like even some actors try to change up what.
Although I do want to see the 14 Fists of McCluskey looks good.
It does look
would,
badass,
the 14 Fists of McCluskey.
We get the flamethrower out. Chekhov's flamethrower, by the way, everybody. Chekhov's flamethrower.
The best,
yeah.
the best. This rewatch, like you were saying, Conan, earlier, the complete setup of the finale of the movie as this weird, like the first time you're watching it, you're like, what is this even? Aside, why am I watching this? Really?
Yeah, he made a
why
whole
am I watching?
Why is this here? Yeah. And then you're like, oh, that's why. Okay.
It also sets up. I was thinking about this, and I had
I forgot the great scene where he's like he's got these flamethrowers going. He's like, oh, does it have to be so hot? It was like,
yeah,
it's a flamethrower.
That line sets up.
It's getting hot in here.
That line very much, very subtly sets up, I think, this distinction between the persona of Rick Dalton and who he actually is, which obviously, you know, we see it a bunch of times when he just starts crying randomly and he's just like the most emotional person ever. But it sets it up in such a nice way where it's like,
Real
you know,
man.
like the heroic version of Rick Dalton doesn't actually exist as a character. And the whole movie, he's chasing this confident, masculine, you know, heroic version of himself that he just doesn't, it's just not there in his life.
That even two of the three Manson acolytes that are attempting murder are familiar with. Of course, Mikey Madison, hilariously being the third, has no idea what they're talking about. But then is the one that has the idea of being like, no, that's who we should kill. Because like, that's like the idea, you know, like in her twisted, druggy logic.
Yeah, I remember
I've been having this thought, man.
Susan Atkins. I remembered when I think it was like in 2000, like late 2007, 2000, whatever. And she got diagnosed with cancer, and she had her leg amputated. She couldn't even get out. Like she was just completely like paralyzed. And they were like, "Can we please just release her? Like have her like release, whatever." But
Mm.
Sharon Tate's family was like, "Fuck no." Even when I think out of all of them, Susan Atkins was faking her like remorse because she just did not seem like she still had like that. I'm not thinking independently, like the tone of her voice when I would watch her interviews. She did not seem like she had this remorse about, unlike Patricia and Leslie Van Houten. It's like, no, they sound like they are now. They don't sound like cult followers anymore. They don't sound like they sound like women who have their own mind and their own thoughts. But Susan Atkins, from her voice, she just didn't sound remorseful. She didn't really take full responsibility like the other two did. So it's like, yeah, I understand why she did not get released even when she was on her deathbed.
So I jumped us ahead quite a bit, of course, because it's fun to talk about. But we were talking about just Leo's character just being wham about his career. You know, we're in the first like 2 minutes of the movie at this point, right? So
Dalton realizes that he's officially designated as a has-been, old buddy. He's not want to star in Italian movies. Booth, a war veteran who lives in a trailer with his pit bull Brandy, drives Dalton around town and relies on him for work due to rumors that Booth killed his wife, Billy. I didn't know that she had a name even, and hence no producer would directly work with Booth due to his reputation. Randy, played by Kurt Russell, refused to hire Booth as he does not like the vibe that Booth brings on sets. Booth encourages Dalton to seriously consider the movie offer in Italy, which it seems like either Randy or like a friend of his is pretty much always the stunt coordinator on all of these movie sets at the time. At least the ones that, or TV sets, the ones that Rick Dalton's getting hired on, at least to play the heavy in all of these pilots. So meanwhile, actress Sharon Tate, played by Margot Robbie, and her husband
wear brown contact lenses too, which is great. That's important.
Director Roman Polanski, not going to even try to pronounce the name of the guy that played him. It's like Rafał Zawierusza. I don't even know.
Is he also Polish or something?
Yeah, I think so. Have moved to the house next door to Dalton's. Polanski is the hottest director in the world at that time. Dalton dreams of befriending. Yeah, Dalton dreams of befriending the couple in order to restore his status as a movie lead. Later that night, Tate and Polanski joined Jay Sebring, played by Emile Hirsch, a Hollywood hairstylist and a friend, an ex-boyfriend of Tate, at a celebrity-filled party at the Playboy Mansion. Sebring still has feelings for Tate, which I don't know. Like they were definitely like swingers, so it's like it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does make, and you get that whole setup from the Steve McQueen representation. Like it kind of explains their whole situation. This again, Howard Hawks style, like in conversation with someone else, and it's so awesome because you do kind of feel like, well, what's this? Like, how does this all fit together? And rewatch versus first watch, it's definitely something that kind of absorbs in a different way. that like why that information would be salient or relevant is going to change depending on what you know about what's going to happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At Dalton's house, Booth reminisces on a sparring match he had on the set of The Green Hornet with Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee claimed that if he had a match with Cassius Clay, he would beat Clay. Booth scoffed at the claim and calls Bruce a glorified dancer. Bruce challenges him to a fight. He was able to hold off Bruce and match him blow for blow. This was probably the most controversial part of the movie at the time. I remember.
I also, too, it's just,
Yes.
there's people that Quentin Tarantino's kind of definitely racist because it's like, really, dude? Like, you're going to do that to Bruce Lee?
I mean, I don't know about all that, but I despise that scene when I first saw it. And this time I was just annoyed by it. I was like, that's annoying. Like,
It's like, you know it's coming. You know it's coming, and you're like, oh,
first of all, this movie's really long already. So we don't need it. And it's also just like, what are you doing to you, man? Like, why is that in there? There's other ways to establish the Cliff Booth character as a badass.
I
correct.
do not believe people their Paul Dano outrage when this scene sets the stage for that. Like Tarantino, I mean, I think the scene's like fun, like whatever. I don't really think much of it because I don't take him very seriously. But he loves to talk out his ass. It's him and Jim Carrey, two guys who love to talk out their ass. And this is a classic example of that. Like, oh my God, like, why even put this in here? The movie is almost 3 hours long, and it is 3 hours of Quentin Tarantino time travel fan fiction. I do not understand it. I think it's like a fun enough scene, but it's like he wants himself to think. He's trying to think of himself as Cliff Booth, answering to what I'm not even sure what authority he thinks he has on this. He knows what a Shaw Brothers movie feels like, which is great. But beyond that, I'm confused by this scene.
So one of the
it's weird. It's weird that it's in here.
It's like, oh, it's a filler scene in a nearly 3 hour long movie. This scene they could have done something different.
Well,
so
so from a pure script writing head perspective, he needs to be fired off the set narratively. That needs to be so that the next thing happens. Also, we want to establish that he's like not a big talker, but he's still a badass, even though he's like considered not in his prime anymore. There are other ways to do that.
Yeah,
and that's it's like annoying. It stops me from fully committing to it. But it was not as jarring the second time around, I'll say. But I still was like, this freaking scene. Okay.
Here it comes.
So the one thing I will say that I found kind of charming was Tarantino explaining that they hired Mike Moe, the guy that plays Bruce Lee in this, who was just an unknown, like the things that he was in at the time, like the films, right? Like he had played a drug lord and like the Man from Death. He's in, like most of the things he was in don't even have Wikipedia pages, pretty much. And then other things, he's like a waiter in an episode of House. He's like a Korean hipster 1 and 2 Broke Girls. Like, so he's this very small time
working actor, basically getting bit parts and extras.
Like he's very, very small time, and he's like this, he is like a martial artist. Like he runs these martial arts gyms and stuff. So they found him. I can't even remember how Tarantino said that they found him, but he auditioned, and so it was his first like big movie to this level.
Well,
and
I mean,
he
that's
went on
cool.
set. But he walked in, and the first thing he saw was like Leonardo DiCaprio walks in, Brad Pitt walks in. At the time, Burt Reynolds walks in because he was still alive, like for the table read and stuff. And this guy's just like silently sitting there with like his eyes bugged out, like, oh, this is I'm here. Like,
so that's cool, but he didn't have to write him like a total a-hole. I'm just saying. Like there are other ways to achieve that narrative, and it would be a cop out to say otherwise, because Quentin Tarantino is a lot of things. A freaking dummy he isn't. So.
Right.
He also owes so much to this like era of martial arts films. It's like
right, exactly, dude. Have you ever seen Lady Snowblood? It's basically Kill Bill.
Yeah.
And I say that as a fan of both movies. It's like,
I mean, in Kill Bill, my name's Buck. I can't remember the fuck. Robert Englund said that in a movie. That's where he took the line from, because it was very. He's like, very.
If he wasn't such a great craftsman, him being such a cultural magpie would be like a deal breaker. But he has a way of recontextualizing things that is cool. And again, he is the inheritor of that Hoxian naturalistic dialogue that unfortunately poisoned an entire generation to be like lesser versions of that.
I've told you the story that my film professor told me, where he wouldn't even in 2000. 2017 when I was, in film classes. He was like, yeah, I don't allow people just to do like Mexican standoff kind of scenes because I was a film student and I graduated the same year that Reservoir Dogs came out, and for like years and years and years, everybody tried to do like a final Reservoir Dogs scene. So he's like, now I've just I have no problem with scenes with guns because of their guns, but like it's just become so hack that I can't keep watching these. You
get the lesser versions, imitations. What were you gonna say on that, Kev?
Yeah, it's just interesting too because I was at The Whole Bloody Affair a couple weeks ago, which was incredible. Highly recommended, folks.
I would love to see that. Yeah,
it's two of the greatest movies of all time as one of the greatest movies of all time. But it made me think about, like, as Tarantino is coming up, I don't know enough about this to be definitive about it, but I feel like remix culture was so huge in the 90s, right? You had the rise of EDM and you have the kind of girl talk and other Paul's Boutique, exactly. Yeah. Like that stuff. The idea of sampling and remix culture integrating into the mainstream in that mid-90s period, as Tarantino is basically doing that with movies, right? Kill Bill opens with the Shaw Brothers logo. I think it's interesting. I think it has an appeal. Now, I don't feel like it sticks out so much here outside of like, we made a TV show and
right, yeah, and or multiple TV shows, really, because I mean, there's like you see the other, which is also just the committing to the bit of it, which I appreciate it because he is a fan of that genre TV and stuff like that, and so in a way, it's his way of celebrating that and keeping it alive. Which just comes back to like, why did you do Bruce Lee so dirty? Come on.
Right.
But I don't want to get hung up on that necessarily, which I guess we already are. But I mean, it's just he's smarter than that. Again, is he an a-hole sometimes? Yes, a lot of times. But is he a dummy? He is not.
So while fixing the TV antenna atop Dalton's roof, Booth notices a hippie man, Charles Manson, arriving at the Polanski residence. Charles Manson stops by the home of Polanski and Tate looking for record producer Terry Melcher, who used to live there, but is turned away by Sebring. I really wish, because it's only 40 seconds or something. I wish that
deleted scene you threw us in. Yeah, it's really good. It's funny.
There's a deleted scene where it's just Manson coming out of the thing, and he looks up, and Cliff Booth is up on the roof looking down at him, and he waves, and Cliff Booth doesn't do anything, so he goes, and then he just stops, and then he goes and drives off.
Sounds like Flea voicing the one Wild Thornberry kid,
You can just stop it at Red Hot Chili Peppers, Kristina, and that would have been fine. But
I know.
Guy, by the
sounds
way,
like half of the Anthony Kiedis lyrics. Yeah.
that same guy, Damon Harriman, that plays Charles Manson here, also played him, I guess, in like Mindhunter or something, like around.
Yes, that's right. He's like, we need a guy to play Charles Manson. We get that guy. That's who he is. Yeah.
Because I love Mindhunter. I thought that was great, but like you saying that, I didn't even think about it. Yeah, it is that same dude. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So he had it. Yeah, so I
talk about getting typecast anyway. So.
But he's got the face down, and like he's got the mannerisms down, and I think it's because he was doing Mindhunter, and he watched so many interviews of Charles Manson in prison.
Imagine that being your whole thing.
At least imagine that being your thing.
And we goof on us, then Butler getting stuck as Elvis.
Yeah, but like imagine that being your thing for like 2 years of just like. You're like, oh, you want to play Manson again? And you're like,
Bill Hader's gonna have a fun time learning how to be Jim Jones. I can't wait for that. He's got 20 years of material to go with.
He's gonna be a great Jim Jones, I think, because he embodies everything. But although I don't know if he'll still do it after what happened, Later, while driving Dalton's car, Booth picks up a young hitchhiker called Pussycat, dropping her off at Spawn Ranch, where Booth once filmed Bounty Law.
Okay, so hold on. First of all, we see her a couple times before that actually happens. Yeah. And granted, we're not going to get every sentence. Like this movie's long.
You can see that girl out around town.
But like,
It's like a flirty, like
it is Chekhov's pussy. Like you're correct.
Yeah. But every single time it's like a flirty, like Cliff Booth waving at her and blowing kisses, or like she has pickles at one point, and this with all the girl like. it's good. Like it's every single time she's just at that same spot.
Well, and something I noticed this time too was that when they're doing like the food foraging, they go by the mural. They go by like the Western mural, right? That has like the big like building size mural. That's a sort of like there's all of these like smaller background elements I think I didn't really catch the first time. And yeah, it is like the third time that like he sees her that he picks her up and they have that interaction, which is great. This is great character work on both sides. And again, I didn't know who the hell Margaret Qualley was first time I saw this. I was like, oh yeah. Like I had somebody tell me that was like she was in The Nice Guys. I'm like, oh, okay.
Also, the actor who's known for playing Charles Manson also was in J. Edgar, a Leonardo DiCaprio Clint Eastwood movie. He played the guy who kidnapped the Lindenberg baby.
Oh man.
I'm like, damn, you're known for playing terrible men. Cool.
Multi-generational bad
talent right there.
Oh no, the Lindbergh baby disappeared, and there's a note. It says,
It's by Anthony Kiedis. Okay.
It says Californication on this note.
That's not even a real word, is it? They can't say that.
Pussycat tries to. It says the baby is under the bridge downtown.
Okay. All right.
And I don't want
it's not going to get any better than that. We're killing that. That's good. J. Edgar Hoover just in a slow run, slow motion.
I mean, that was a great film, right?
Would have wildly improved that movie.
It really would have. Okay,
the perfect thing though, right? The show when Leo points, he's watching FBI. So you could have Leonardo DiCaprio playing J. Edgar Hoover on TV, and he turns and he points at himself playing J. Edgar Hoover in that movie. And the guy playing.
R.I.P. J. Edgar, you hate the fact that they're changing the name of your FBI building.
This is like the inception of memes, Forrest. I think we're going too many layers deep. Speaking of which, let's go back to the plot summary.
Pussycat tries to persuade Booth to stay, but he is suspicious of the large amount of hippies. By the way, tries to suck him off in the car, and
just wants to shoot right past that, I guess.
It's the only guy in the '60s that's like, let me see ID.
Yeah.
That interaction makes perfect sense when it's like this is the first time that Tarantino's made a movie without Harvey Weinstein. So it's like that.
I'm free. I could be proper, yay!
But also you realize how calculated, whatever the fuck Cliff Booth has been doing with his entire life, right? Like
his wheels are always turning, right? He's thinking about
thinking ahead.
Yeah,
he's like I love the line where he's like I've been one step ahead in avoiding prison my whole life. I'm not going to prison for you, and it's like. That guy, like he did, like I don't know if you murdered your wife and got away with it, right? Like at the last minute, whatever happened there, in the words of The Sopranos, like whatever happened there, like you probably are gonna be extra, like you're like this is my moment. I'm not doing anything that's gonna get me in more trouble. Like that was life 8. You know,
right.
Like
right, exactly. And it tells you a lot about the character, but I think the plot summary kind of doesn't get across the whole 10-minute introduction to the Manson family on the ranch.
Yeah.
The vibe shift for the movie, which is otherwise like fun hangout movie. Hey, we're in Hollywood. we're running around doing stuff.
Like,
and then suddenly it's like, oh, something is not right here. Even if you don't know anything about the Manson family or whatever, you're going to be like, the vibes are continuing to deteriorate here. This is not good. And you get so much there. And if we were talking about cutting this movie, which I wouldn't dare, except for that one scene, I wouldn't cut any of it because I think you get a good tableau of like the many aspects of how that operation was running and how the family operated and the hierarchy and like what everyone is trying to get out of it and so on and so on. And you see that this is basically a place that was used as a filming location, that business went away. It's gone. So,
what do I mean? Like all of you guys, but especially Kev because he's the guest, and I'm interested in hearing what he has to think about this. What do you guys think about the decision to really barely show Charles Manson? Right, like
I think it's the best decision. The best, the best decision.
Because he could get too cheesy because he was a big, wild personality, and I feel like it would just take away from like even with the vibe shift, it would just throw everything off by having it featured predominantly in this movie. Like having him as a background.
He hangs over it like a specter in so many scenes.
Well, you know what it reminds me of is like The Third Man, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like you hear about Orson Welles' character the entire time. When you finally see him, it's like, oh crap, it's that guy. Okay, crazy. And that, God, I feel like so many filmmakers just don't do that. They like overshow the villain. You know, they're forgetting like what makes suspense.
Look at a lot of horror movie villains. They end up being cursed to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's
I just answered for the panel, but that's that's what we like. We like that. Yeah.
There's this almost famously like almost magical quality about Manson, where it's like anybody that spends time with him, and then you see him in interviews, and it's like I don't get it. But it's like,
but there are also people that work really well in person. That it doesn't quite get over the same way recorded, and that is a very real thing.
And a lot of LSD helps too to control the youngins, like
Well, I mean, he's like he studied Hitler so much, Charles Manson, as like that thing that Hitler was able to project onto people and like become like
Jim Jones. Every cult leader's like, I'm going to study Hitler and go from there.
But
that's what happens.
But he like, and he had obviously he carved like the swastika or tatted the swastikas onto himself. But like there is that quality where it's like I watch like anything with Hitler having like a speech, and I'm like, I don't. Like whatever it is doesn't translate for me. Like,
but I think if you have
Roman language, it just doesn't sound appealing. Like that's what it is.
If you have 5 minutes more Charles Manson, it's too much Charles Manson.
Yeah,
and then it becomes like it's like when you're making dinner and you put in like a certain spices, you only want a little bit of it, otherwise it takes it over. Mm-hmm. Yes, Charles Manson as making dinner as a spice. That's exactly the analogy I made.
Also, but I knew a girl who was a huge like Charles Manson like defender. She's like the girl who stayed all. Yeah, I was like, I'm like, but he was the head honcho. He was the cult. I'm like, are you gonna say that it was just you can't blame. Like, it's like with Jim Jones. I'm like, you don't think Jim Jones was, I mean, I get it. He wasn't solely responsible because he had a lot of white people, higher ups helping him out. But, like, to blame these younger women who were taking a lot of drugs by him, I'm like, what's going on in your head? He has a swastika on his forehead.
The thing with Manson also is that, like, he had this long, incredibly just dark life of getting like he got arrested, something like, and they kept just letting him out for whatever reason. Which is part of this like the O'Neill book that I was talking about is like trying to track down why that was. Like, is he connected to intelligence? And like, yes, he probably was. Is he connected to like the FBI kind of stuff? Yes, he probably was a source for the FBI. Like, there's all these weird connections, but it's like he was, the things that he got arrested for were like domestic violence, rape, burglary, armed burglary, like things that you should not, like, if there should be like 20 years in prison. Like,
but you know what? He
was going around like he was going around like
he's
holding people down and like holding women down, like raping them and stuff. And then like within a year, pretty much, they'd be like, all right, you're back on the street, Charles Manson. And it's like, this is dark shit. Like I've all the stuff about him as a cult leader, like I obviously knew, but it's like his background is like, it's intense. Like,
well, and again, the music part of it is interesting as well, because if he had actually if someone had just like given him the damn record deal, we probably would have had, again, another speculative history as well. But we're not going to cover it on this show because we're barely like a third of the way through this goddamn movie, and we're going to finish this plot summary.
So Pussycat tries to persuade Booth to stay, but he's suspicious of the large number of hippies squatting on the property. Probably good to be suspicious of that. Inspector taking advantage of the owner, George Spahn, played by Bruce Dern, would have been played by Burt Reynolds, an 80-year-old nearly blind man who rented his ranch out for westerns. Charles Manson convinced Spahn to allow him and his followers to live on the ranch. By the way, George Spahn, obviously a real guy, and he actually is in like the Manson documentary, the first one that they came out with for TV. He's actually in the background of it because he lived for another 5 years and kept living with like letting the Manson girls, because what is he gonna do, right? He's like he was like in his 80s at this point and had like a long career as like a guy that had lent his ranch out and like as like a businessman or whatever. But it's like he was still living with them after these horrific murders happened, and it was just like not like he had another place to go. And then eventually the Spahn ranch burned down, and that's why they all moved out. Booth insists on checking on Spahn despite Squeaky Dakota Fanning. Did not recognize her as Dakota Fanning.
I forgot that was her.
Nope.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. And I've seen 2 movies with her, and both of which I loved, by the way, which is a Predator Badlands and A Sun Mo Value. She's great in both of these.
She obviously would later, the actual Squeaky Front, right, would later go down for
attempting to assassinate Gerald Ford.
Attempting to assassinate Chevy Chase. No, but attempting to assassinate Gerald Ford.
She's very nonchalant about it too when she was talking about it. Like, but also too, this is the same girl who like stapled herself, like for funsies. I'm like, yeah, you're something's a little wrong.
One of the early SNL things when it was Chevy Chase, like just wrecking Gerald Ford by constantly playing him and like slipping on banana peels and stuff was the sketch where they just taking a shot at Gerald Ford. He's like, whoop. The other hippies include Katie, Butterfly, Blue. By the way, the person to play Blue is Kansas Bowling. I don't think I've seen her in anything else, but that's an interesting name for like that's more Manson than anyone else's name in this. Snake, played by Sydney Sweeney, and Froggy, played by Harley Quinn Smith, who's Kevin Smith's daughter.
You would think she was actually Jason's daughter because a lot of people were like, "Are you sure, Kevin?" And even he says it too. It's hilarious.
Wow.
It would be funny. It would be funny if on her deathbed she finds out she's Jay Muse's daughter. He's like, fuck.
It's like him. I'm just saying.
Fuck.
Anyway.
Fuck. Motherfucker. By the way, I like how
we're gonna lose our PG rating on this show with all this vulgarity.
Wait, what? PG rating? I remove this pussy.
There. Got him.
It'd be like
Can't steal this pussy one more night.
That's what I'm gonna say. You can't remove the pussy for one night. Returning to the car, Booth discovers that Clem Grogan, I think he ended up being like the only Manson family member that was involved because there wasn't just
That's
this
the
murder
joke.
they went down
That's
for.
the joke. Is that we? Come on, catch up.
There's also like I think
PG rating. Pussy galore.
Testified against everyone too because she was like, "I'm not getting involved. No, I wasn't there. I'm."
What the fuck was pussy galore rated? Rated pussy galore. No, Clem Grogan ended up being the only one I think that they eventually paroled because he was involved in the other one of the other Manson murders, which was the
Folgers. No.
There was the Tate LaBianca murder. That was one of them, and then they also murdered like a ranch hand on ranch. They also murdered a guy. They didn't find this out till later, and I don't think anyone was charged with it. There was a black guy that lived like 5 miles or something from Swan Ranch. That they were like, "Oh, hey, buddy, like we'll pick you up. Like let's hang out." And then one day they just stabbed him, and but because he was black, they didn't really look into it.
Yeah, they were like, helter skelter, a race war, let's go,
Yeah, they were trying to do a race war any way they could. But Clem Grogan was involved in one of those, I think with the ranch hand one, and they ended up, he's the only one that they paroled for some reason in like 1980. Booth brutally beats Grogan and forces him to change the tire. One of the Manson girls, Sundance, goes to fetch Tex. Tex, come on out here, Tex, leader of the hippies. But by the time Watson arrives on horseback, Booth is driving away. Tate goes for a walk and decides to stop at a movie theater to watch herself in The Wrecking Crew. That's a quick aside, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's a whole lot of
musicians from the 60s.
But yeah, I think all the ranch stuff's good. I mean, it's again resting state of dread, even if you don't have any idea what the details are. I think that's.
But you just have like that feeling.
Yeah. It's great. The mood's great. The mood's horrible, but I mean it's great for the narrative purpose of the film.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where Tate goes to to watch herself in the movies actually is a Tarantino thing because when he made True Romance, he was trying to show off to a girlfriend. So he brought the girlfriend and was like, "I wrote the script," and the person wouldn't believe him. So he had to like show like his name and like an ID with his name on it, and like he finally, I guess he said that people walked up to him and like asked to sign something because they knew him because it was obviously in his neighborhood, and they were like, "Okay, I guess you do have fans, so
that's funny."
Yeah. Also, an aside, Squeaky Fromm was paroled a few years ago, and she still supports Charles Manson. I'm like, out of all the one, like he didn't even like you that much. Like, what are you doing?
Okay, so getting away from Manson for maybe like 3.4 seconds. I love all the Sharon Tate stuff, and I love that we get
career.
Well, no, that's not what I was gonna say. What I was gonna say is that like I like the lived-in stuff. Like you could just see her being a person, You get to see. I love like the walk. She's just walking around. She's being
Yeah.
something other than a murder victim, which is what we mostly know her as culturally. And and I think it's interesting that the whole movie theater experience is based, at least somewhat, in Quentin Tarantino's own reality, because it is kind of like, it's funny where it's like, okay, why are you giving her the business about this? Like it's some like second tier D. Martin comedy. like okay, just let her in, man. It's fine. Clearly, but it's funny that it works well. It works well in that very Quentin Tarantino way, right?
It's the girl from Sorry to Bother You too. That's the just the horrible person working for the company that's like right above Keith Stanfield and Sorry to Bother You.
That's right. And there's the whole thing was like, well, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Oh, was this one? No, that was someone else. Oh, this one? No, that was someone else. It's just that whole like, oh my god, that just like secondhand embarrassment of just.
She's like, I'm the one that did porn in the end.
Right. Yeah. It's not exactly.
Yeah. There's a quote. And you're true. You're right about that, Conan. Because we never, when we think of Sharon Tate, we think of, oh my god, tragic victim. We don't see like any portrayal of her before, like because everyone's like, well, she was married to Roman Polanski. We all know what happened to him. So it's like, what do we do? But this is where Tarantino was smart to do. To make her
I think it's one of the coolest things about the movie because you get to see her as a person. She puts on those goofy looking glasses.
I know.
She's watching everyone like laugh at certain parts of the movie.
And she's like enjoying,
Yeah, and you get to see her as a person, and that's it's fascinating to me because I was thinking about it. I was like, culturally, we just didn't have that before this movie, which is crazy. Because people go, oh yeah, Sharon Tate was so important. But it's like, it is one of those things where when someone's murder is so salacious, that becomes the only thing that they're known for. And
Black Dahlia.
Terrible. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the flip side of that coin, right? That I didn't really process that much until I read that Tom O'Neill book. But like it really hammers it home. The Roman Polanski thing is that he obviously got kind of the status of for a small time before his other scandals broke. He kind of had the status almost of a saint in this friend group because his wife had gotten murdered so brutally, right? And his house had gotten defaced. So for a while there, he was kind of treated like almost like an angel that has never done anything wrong. And they actually started covering up a lot of the egregious crimes and misdeeds that he had, like including pimping Sharon Tate out, like, and making people like coercing her into doing porn with various friends of his that he had around, and like the police, the police gave him back the porn that they had made or whatever. Like
because he was married to Sharon Tate was considered like a goddess. Like she had this very soft, sweet, hot, feminine voice. She was very articulate of what she wanted. Like even there's a clip on TikTok of her discussing like the beauty of doing like nudity in film and how empowering it could be. Blah 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 blah. Like so, like everyone's like she's with him. So everyone, again, it felt bad for him because he lost something beautiful. What we did know is that it wasn't a fairy tale behind the scenes. It really wasn't.
Pendulous Dragon says, "Don't believe I met Kev. Hey, Kev, I'm Pendulous Dragon."
Hello.
All right.
Good to meet you. Much love.
Dalton lands the.
Well, hold on. Kev, what do you think about this whole thing with the Sharon Tate? I think. Do you agree?
Very controversial portrayal of Sharon Tate in this movie from people,
including her family.
Oh,
yeah, true. But I think that he's going for something here that if you got to take a step back. I love the idea of Sharon as this symbol of like the beauty and potential of the future, right? Of the present. She's kind of the sun around which all of this orbits, and she doesn't have input into the plot, right? Like Charlie Manson, who this movie is very much not about. But she is kind of the bright center of it. Everything revolves around her. And I think that there's beauty to that. And I think that people underrate Margot Robbie's performance and they underrate the vision on the character. Listen, I can't talk about what the family didn't say, and I understand and appreciate that. But for Kev, the guy who loves movies, I think it's perfect. And this scene is fantastic, even if the foot fetishism is a little indulgent. But also, like, you bought the ticket. You bought the ticket.
You bought the ticket. Also, we made an hour 14 without a photo reference.
I was going to say something.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
like,
Very
that
proud of
was
you.
so
I made a
intentional.
With all
Tarantino.
love and respect, I am shocked. But the Charlie
Peace and
Manson,
love.
I mean, we got to
Yeah, exactly.
I made a commitment. I made a commitment not to make foot jokes.
Yeah, you did. Which I appreciate.
No,
There's a lot of feet in this one too.
There's no
the
foot
family-
double in this one. A la Timothy. Never mind.
I don't think the family. I think the family just had different opinions on it. Like if I remember correctly, like I don't think that they were like, oh, this is terrible. But I think I just remember that they like different members of her family had different opinions.
I don't think they would have liked to have her. Like I get like the revisionist history, but I feel like portraying her near. I mean, but her career was really just starting too. So it's like, where would you want her to be portrayed if there was ever a biopic about her life, which. That would just be a miniseries,
right?
I
So
think.
that's the thing we talked about in the vehement hatred of the biopic industrial complex that this show has opined about multiple times is because you have something that the family approves, and you're going to get like the approved version of the story, and so you're going to get something that's guileless, that's gormless, that's toothless, and it ends up being in this state we have now. We're like, why are these movies being made if you're just going to like pull every punch and just have this soft oatmeal of a story that's happening? So I mean, and I agree with you, Kev, because for the purposes of the movie, because this isn't a Sharon Tate biopic, this is not a Charles Manson biopic, this is a movie that is speaking to larger themes. And I think if you don't have the Margot Robbie of it all, and you have these like kind of soft, subtle like hangout scenes where you get to see her be a human being, then you don't have a heart to the movie beyond the bromance between the two dudes.
Yeah.
It's interesting her, like when you look at her filmography, it started in 1961 and obviously ended in 1969, but a lot of the films that she had done before meeting Polanski and falling in love and getting married, a lot of those are like unaccredited roles, whereas she was in Mr. Ed, she was in Beverly Hillbillies, Man from U.N.C.L.E., like she had bigger parts on TV at the time. And around, in like the mid 60s, she starts getting these bigger roles, and then that's when her career really took off as a film actress. But she is someone who made the jump from TV to film, and I mean, obviously it doesn't hurt when you're like incredibly beautiful and you get the biggest director of the moment to marry.
Perfect bone structure, perfect eye shape, everything about her was just perfect. And 26, she was 26, y'all.
She was nominated in 1968, so a year before her death, for Valley of the Dolls as new star of the year as an actress. So that kind of gives you a like where her stardom kind of was starting out like the year before. So Dalton lands the role of a villain in a new series, Lancer. I would watch. I feel like
we should just do a name of fake movies you would watch from this movie.
I would totally watch all these fake movies and all these fake TV shows. They all look badass to me.
Take me to the green door.
I didn't realize until watching a bunch of Tarantino interviews for this. Kind of hard to do, but at this point, but I watched a bunch of Tarantino interviews. I didn't realize that Green Door is actually it's a real song that was recorded for these various like TV. So it's like you can actually get someone that's not Leonardo DiCaprio going, "Take me down to the green door," like someone like stars that can actually kind of sing. Which obviously he's playing up the fact that he can't sing, but like stars kind of doing that. There's recordings of like other like doing that song. I don't know why I thought it was just for this movie, but because it's such a stupid song. I think that's why I was like, this is then the green door. I want to see what's behind the green door. I was like, are they hinting something? Like, is it like
subtext?
Puff,
no, not really.
Is it Puff the Magic Dragon kind of?
It's just the green door.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Don't overthink it.
He lived behind the green door, Puff the Magic.
Lived behind the green door, apparently. That's what I hear.
I've been listening to a lot of Peter, Paul, and Mary lately, so it's like,
Oh, so I want to get you guys' takes on the next part, where he strikes up a conversation with his 8-year-old co-star Trudy during one of his scenes. Dalton struggles with his dialogue due to his alcoholism. That whole secret. I'm curious what you guys think about the whole that character. I guess the actress is named Julia Butters, which is a funny actress name. But when he's reading his book and then he gets into that whole thing with this 8-year-old girl that's like way more of a pretentious actor than even he is.
Yeah, it's giving stories I've heard of child actors with older, well-established actors, and like that dynamic behind the scenes. Like I've heard like stories of Shirley Temple being a little brat when working on a film with John Barrymore, because he's like, show me respect, and or like it's just a trope I've heard when it comes to like child stars back in the day working with these well-established like actors, and it's like,
she's not really being a brat though. I mean,
No.
it seems it's interesting that she's
just
like
having a
kinda-
bit of an attitude or something like it.
She's taking the craft very seriously for a child actor.
Yeah.
yeah.
But think about this. Rick is the seasoned veteran coming back, right?
Mhm.
And Ms. Butters, right, is the kid who's a complete professional and has her shit together.
Yeah.
Dalton looks ridiculous. She's like coaching him. I think that's like another hit on the core themes of this movie.
Yeah. And I love the because he kind of just shows up and he's obviously hungover as fuck, like he hates himself for it, and like I really like the whole the trailer scene where he's like beating the fuck out of himself, because I relate to that a lot, like as someone that like I'm very hard on myself when I like feel like I've embarrassed myself in front of people. I'm like I get very intense about that sometimes. And so like seeing a scene where it's, and I think DiCaprio actually improv a lot of it, like that whole sequence where he's just throwing shit and he's like, "Oh, you fucking idiot, you couldn't have 8 drinks, or you couldn't have 4 drinks, you had to have
Everybody starts
8."
counting them. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but
Well,
it's like
and-
yeah,
I was gonna say it makes the turnaround all the more interesting too, right? Where
Yeah.
he's again is coming out from this perspective of just being so in his head and stuff that he can't do the craft of it to his own liking, which sends him down spiraling. And then you see him, it's an overused term and it's a hacky thing usually, but he uses it, and he uses it in a way to kind of take things a different direction that everyone loves. And it goes from being, we're watching something and we're like, what are we watching? What is this? Because we don't know the story. All we see is like these interactions where this looks terrible. Like, what is this? And then you see a piece of it come together in a way where he shows he has the goods. And he does it in such a way because of the lessons he learned from this little girl, but also because he gets out of his head enough to actually do the work which he already knows how to do. So it's not that he's just an also-ran. It's not that he's like a has-been. It's something that he just has to get it out of his own way to be able to do the thing that he's doing right there. And you see it come together, and even though we still don't have the full context, you're like, I know that's a good scene. I know that.
Yeah.
well, and you see Cliff Booth understand, like, inherently, because he has spent so much time with Rick Dalton, right? Like, as he walks away, he's like, remember, you're Rick fucking Dalton. Like, he's imbuing him with this confidence, and it almost reminds me of like the Cowardly Lion in Wizard of Oz, right?
Sure.
Where it's like it's not necessarily courage that he's lacking, but it's self-confidence that he's lacking throughout the entire thing. And the more he gets beaten down, obviously, like, that doesn't get better. Like like, I mean, as someone that's struggled,
it's being a belief engine, right?
The more you kind of embarrass yourself in front of people, or like have that in front of people, it continues to spiral. It doesn't get better.
And there's also the idea of switching the professionalism on, like when you have your cue,
Right.
Right.
And I noticed that too, like when I years when Mackenzie Phillips had her memoir about her drug addiction, the relationship with her father, and she talked about like how she would come to set one day at a time, very high, very drunk, but then they're like, okay, Mackenzie, once if the camera was not on her, she was just out of it. But when the camera was on her, boom, she was there.
Yeah,
she was there.
Flick the switch, right?
Yeah.
And he's not a guy that's forgotten how to flick the switch on, right? But he's so in his head about other stuff. He's even the book he's reading. He's reading the book about the freaking what's the character's name? I can't remember. It's a funny character name. Because then like the little girl's like, oh, that sounds like an excellent book. What's happening with whatever the goofy ass character name is? But it's like, it's basically he's seeing his own struggle. He's seeing his own path and not being the best anymore naturally, and not being able to be like the young buck anymore, and he's reconciling that and starting to spiral before they do the first take, frankly. And it's such a good it like that is actually one of the centers of the movie. I feel
Easy breezy is
easy
the-
breezy. Okay,
yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I was gonna say I remember it was something really
Beautiful
goofy.
cover
sounding.
girl.
I love when she goes. It sounds like a great book. Poor easy breezy.
Poor easy breezy. Yeah, that's so great. And again, that comes back to like just having these like very naturalistic conversations between these, characters that are very comfortable in their own reality. And that's, you can dog on Quentin Tarantino all you want. There's plenty to criticize, but I feel like he's very good at doing that. And one of the better modern filmmakers where it actually does sound naturalistic rather than someone trying to like sound cool.
I love the I love when they're having that conversation and he goes, "That's gonna be you in 15 years," really quietly. And she goes, "What?"
Yeah.
And he's like,
"What?
"Oh,
Nothing."
After having an emotional breakdown in his trailer, by the way, I like the my favorite line in that whole sequence is when he goes, "You practice and now it doesn't look like you practice, and they're not gonna think you practiced."
Yeah, exactly. It shows how far down the Mekong he is in his own head, right?
Dalton returns to the set and delivers a powerful performance that just impresses the director Sam Wanamaker. Real director that's like another one of the characters that kind of they bring out of the actual milieu from this time. And Trudy bolstering Dalton's confidence. I love show me like give me evil sexy Hamlet.
Rock me, evil sexy Hamlet.
But when are we gonna do Hamlet too? By the way, I would love to do that movie.
One of the great movies of all time.
We should maybe that could be our crossover episode.
You know what? You might have something here. Yeah, I
Let
love
this man
Hamlet too. We're cooking.
We are. God damn, that movie's so funny. Anyway,
Austin Danger Hamlet.
we're gonna workshop this name too.
To be or not to be, baby. After watching Dalton's guest performance on an episode of FBI, where
where the famous meme
casting agent Marvin Schwartz offers Dalton the opportunity to shoot a spaghetti western in Italy. Dalton, who considers spaghetti westerns to be the bottom of the movie industry, reluctantly agrees, bringing Booth with him for the 6-month stint. Dalton films 4 movies, including Nebraska Jim. By the way, that's a real like Sergio Corbucci movie.
So what said they had a great cast.
And married to Italian starlet Francesca Capucci. I was trying to in my head be trying to register it. It's Kurt Russell doing the whole voiceover.
It is Kurt Russell. Yeah, I caught it this time. Well, actually, Lindsay was walking by. She's like, "Is that Kurt Russell?" I was like, "Yeah, I think it is." So technically speaking, stolen valor. She recognized it.
Returning to Los Angeles, Dalton informs Booth that he can no longer afford his services, and they agree to go their separate ways. Sad. Returning to Los Angeles on August 8th, 1969, Dalton and Booth go out drinking to commemorate their time together. They return to Dalton's home, where Booth smoked an acid-laced cigarette, takes Brandy for a walk. One of the great lines in this when he goes, when you separate with a buddy who's I'm trying to do this exactly, but who's when you separate with a buddy who's more than a best friend but less than a wife. I love that line to describe their relationship.
Well, absolutely, right, and
it's more than a brother, less than a wife.
Right.
Well, but also the synopsis skipped over that he comes back married. That he comes.
No, it didn't. It said gets married to Italian starlet Francesca Capucci.
who does not really speak English is the point I was getting at. Which is an added element of
sounds like a mail order bride, if you ask me. Anyway.
Well, but that's an added element to like what happens later too, right? That she's this very very small amount of pidgin English with that character. Not a lot of character development too. It's more of an archetype. That was the thing that a lot of people that like worked overseas would do, is they would fall in love on set or whatever, and I love that as a big Sergio Leone fan, y'all know that. I love that how it gets into the whole like everybody speaking different languages and then overdubbing it later.
Yeah,
and, like just explaining that in context of what's happening with the Rick Dalton character, and that he didn't care for that aspect of it, but
he gets married to it.
But he gets right, exactly. But then you made a life commitment to it, so that's interesting. But I love those spaghetti western movies. I think they exist in a sort of interesting genre that you have to kind of judge them on their own, not as like the rest of cinema, because objectively some of them are pretty freaking bad. But then there's things like Good, Man, the Ugly, where it's like you can have dudes just staring at each other for 5 minutes, and it's the most intense thing you've ever seen in your life, right? And that's amazing.
It's another one of those. Wait, that's All Quiet on the Western Front. No. By the way, is this Hamlet 2 in 2026? Yes, please.
Look, don't threaten me with a good time. I'm ready. Rock me, sexy Jesus. Let's do it.
Sergio Corbucci obviously made the original Django, and like several other Django with Franco Nero. Who
that was not obvious to me. I didn't know that, so that's great.
I just say obvious, but so Franco Nero has that great scene in Django Unchained, because Django Unchained is obviously an homage to to the original Django, where he's standing there because he's still alive, and he's standing there and he's like like DJ A and G-O, the D is silent. He goes, I know. And I love that. And I remember that scene, but I remember going like, why is this Italian guy questioning him? Like when I first saw it, right? Like
well, and that's a small little thing. I mean, I feel like there's some things that like he only puts in just for like the deepest nerds, right? Of which he is one as well.
Mm-hmm. When I watched Breakfast at Tiffany's last night, Audrey Hepburn, George Part, love Audrey and everything. I named my dog after Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wait, have we done an Audrey Hepburn movie at all?
We haven't.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Really? No, that can't be true. All right, we got top researchers on it right now.
I don't think we have. Broken Holiday.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Funny Face. No? Damn.
Meanwhile, we should do Charade. Charade's awesome.
Oh, yes. All-timer.
My Fair Lady would be fun to talk because of the dynamic about Mary Poppins.
We have a bunch on the to-do list, but we have never done them.
I have Charade. I think somewhere in my shed where I have all the VHS tapes. I have the VHS of Charade.
Nice.
Meanwhile, Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Linda Casbian, and Patricia Krenwinkel park outside in their loud 1959 Ford Galaxy, as you do, in preparation to murder everyone in Tate's house. Their cult leader, Charles Manson, apparently told Tex Watson, go to Terry's old house, where Tate now stays, and kill everyone inside. Dalton hears the car, comes out, and angrily orders them to leave, which is where you get the great thing where he's like, oh, is that
well, he's got, first of all, he's got the mixer full of margarita that he just like, and then he like takes a sip from it, and he's still glowering, takes another sip, like, which is such great visual humor. But yeah, that is where like after the fact they're like, was that Rick Dalton? Which is hilarious. But it's also
they say even funnier. They go, is that Jake Cahill? Because the whole movie you're getting his Bounty Law character is Jake Cahill, is obviously like this iconic figure. And I love the detail that Tex is like, out of all the lunchboxes, my Bounty Law lunchbox, that was my favorite lunchbox.
Yeah.
Because it also sets it up for the fact that like these are like middle class kids that got sucked into this, right? Like it's
the equivalent of like Bonanza or something, right? Yeah. So it's like one of those things where it's like, it works at multiple levels. And then also like the NIMBY of it all. If you heard like a loud ass car like that, if you're gonna like loiter in someone's driveway, at least fix your muffler or something. I can't remember exactly what it says, but yeah,
I hate that.
That's relatable. Sorry,
it's a cul-de-sac in the Hollywood Hills, right? Like it's a cul-de-sac.
It's a private road. Right. Yeah. It's a private road.
you go into a private road because you don't want like the whole. But he's so proud of, and he's obviously about to sell it because he can't afford it anymore. Because even because he spent too much money, he blew too much money on drinking in his nice Roman apartment or whatever. At least he came back with a wife that's probably gonna leave him when she realizes like moving to Lake Tahoe or whatever it is in a condo. He's moving to like an area like that, but he has that whole speech where he's so proud of his home because he's like, I always say, it's something that I learned like early on. You don't rent, you buy a house, and then you're not
visiting,
passing through. Yeah, you're here, you live here, and it's like because he's like from Missouri or whatever. He's like, I'm going back to Missouri, I guess.
Well, yeah, and so that's important.
That's like a 40-year-old man, like, or you know what I mean, like,
because that's the motivation, like his motivations, right? And like where he's coming at from things where it's it's like let's just like whatever, okay, sure, man, yeah, all right, sounds good, where it's like it's just me and my dog, and those like hilarious old beers that look like they're in like tomato soup cans.
Yeah, a few small beers.
Small beers. Small beers.
So they drive off, but Atkins hatches a plan to return and kill Dalton instead. Casby deserts the group, and the remaining three proceed with Atkins' plan. By the way, I know I'm not making a joke when I say this. All right, so you can't penalize me. Maya Hawke said the one thing that Uma Thurman told her is don't let Tarantino see your feet.
Yeah. Yeah. They all knew. They all fucking
wow.
knew.
Oh, there you go.
First thing I ever saw Maya Hawke in, by the way, was so. And her character's got the right idea. Get the hell out! Oh, I think I left something in the car. Oh yeah, you need the keys.
Oh, I think I left something in the car. By the way, I'm wearing shoes of steel, so don't even think about it.
Why is she wearing winter boots? It's weird. Okay.
And they go all the way up to her thighs.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
Thigh-high boots.
Seems unseasonable.
They break into Dalton's house and confront Booth, who recognizes them from the Spawn Ranch. One of my favorite moments is when he's taking the acid dip cigarette and it flashes back like two different times. Flashes back. He goes, an acid dip cigarette's 50 cents, and he pays the 50 cents. And then he's like, what do I even do with this? And she's like, just smoke the cigarette. And he just leaves it at the house and then forgets about it, which like I don't know, like but he was looking for the best night, I guess, and this is the right night to do it.
Man, if only cigarettes for 50 cents, you know.
Their banter is so funny when you realize that like the acid has hit Brad Pitt so
hard.
Yeah,
it's great. It's great. It's so great. Let's give Kev a shot at it because I want him to have a good time with this too.
I love the thing I felt sitting there opening night in the theater was catharsis during that whole scene with the bands. We're now talking about the finale, right? The Manson kids, right? I felt so much joy. This is so weird, but I felt so much joy in seeing. But they were hypnotized, and man, maybe it's a little more conflicted than I expected. But like, these people did these horrible things, and now they are being punished. And that I think there is a beauty to that. And then that makes the slapstick comedy really work.
So I went, I saw it in theaters too. Went with my younger brother, and I texted him actually before this, and his text back was, that was as good as it gets in terms of a movie theater experience. Watching the finale of this movie, because after like the 2 hours and 40 minutes, I remember like me and my brother Cam, like we just both got up and we were like we were amped, especially the flamethrower part. Yeah. Me and him were just like get it. And so and like my brother's like 6 foot.
Like, murder these murderers.
He's like 6'6" or 6'7", like he's huge. So when he got up, I remember being like, oh shit, no one behind you is gonna be able to see the next whatever.
Well, and like.
We just couldn't like sit still. We were like, oh fuck yeah!
And it's so cool because Austin Butler. Jesus Christ!
He said,
yeah, baby.
Where's that crossover?
I'm the devil, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the line I was gonna say. I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business. And he's like, no, it's dumber than that. It's something like Rex. Yeah. It's like Tex just shoot him. He's like, that was it.
Well, because the first thing he says, right? And I had it in the intro. He's like, he's like, I know you. And the three of them, they all look at each other. He's like, Spawn Ranch. And then he goes,
I remember your white little face. I remember that too.
And then he's like, I even remember your name. What is it? He's like, Rex. No, it's dumber than that. And he's like, I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's
business. You're stealing my confidence. It's like in order to kill Pennywise, you gotta bully it to death. You know, like it just throws off.
But it's not like he's trying to like neg them or something. It's just like that's
it's so just on acid, like
exactly. And it works so well, and then you also remember the good dog representation in this movie. And then it's like the dog just like goes, and you're like, well, but you saw he like does this obedience training like every night with like the food, and so you see that going on, and you're like, oh, this is just what this guy's life is, and it's so great when he does it, and that just sets it all off, and like immediately it's a chopper stick balls moment. You know?
It's also like, I mean, by the time they get in there, right, it's two women and it's Austin Butler, and I mean, it's like you already know that like this is the guy that killed his wife and got away with it, like. 100%. That's what
This is
that's what
Scott's
happened.
character.
So it's like I don't know, like
Like, yeah, he's capable of killing like multiple people. Yeah, he.
But it's like this is a person that like seems to take actual like he's not. I'm not saying like he's like a psychopath. Or anything like that. But this is someone that seems to get actual pleasure out of these acts of brutal violence if he's pushed into it, right? Like, or if he's so it's like you see like the moment where she grabs the like the red like she grabs like the knife or whatever and she goes towards him, and even with the knife in him you're like, oh, you picked the wrong like you could have picked Sharon Tate, and like none of those people have any like special skill or whatever, but like you pick the guy that he's not only gonna like kill you, but like he's gonna enjoy this. He already killed like his wife, like he's not gonna hold back on you, like.
Yeah, and it's just and there's just great. Mikey Madison's just so great. It's just immediately like like whirling dervish in every way. And it's just like, oh my god, this is so hilarious. Because first of all, doesn't he get it with like the dog food can, if I remember correctly? At first. Oh,
yeah. And
so
he sends the dog after the guy's nuts.
Yeah, that's the part I referenced earlier. With the whistle.
Like first his arm, then his nuts. So that guy's already getting fucked up. And then you just see, Mikey Madison's already been fucked up in the head and fucked up in the whatever. She's like crawling, and the one girl is fine. And it's she's kind of just awkwardly like, I don't know, like
she got like slapped around a little bit by the Italian woman, but other than that, like
it's interesting. Like, I mean, we talked about this, I think, with weapons. It's like there's a certain kind of like killing in movies that lately has been very, very popular, where it's like just the exploding head, where you just hit a head over and over. I mean, it's almost cathartic in its own way, because you're like, I don't know, there's something like weirdly like about watching like somebody's head pop. I mean, since Scanners, I think like Scanners was one of the early times where it's like, the boys kind of with the AOC type character blowing up people's heads. Like there's so much head blowing up that is like it's almost like popping a pimple or something.
It's almost like that, yes. I mean, this is all catharsis, right? And then we get the, we had the again Chekhov's flamethrower, right? Like and the pool scene, amazing. Like this is it's so great because you get three scenes with it. You at least get two that are set up where you have like the movie with the fake movie that looks badass where he's roasting Nazis, and then you have like him like again like
14 fish of McCloskey,
and you just. Yeah, it's very cathartic. And it's also doubly cathartic because, like, think about this as a speculative history. Think about the real events that happened. There was nobody. Right. This was not anything that happened. This is the same way that I remember what's one of the ones we have done, Inglourious Basterds, where it's like, and I thought about it, was like, oh, should I have him only kill the other people and not get Hitler? It's like, no, he's going to kill Hitler. It's just like, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna like commit to the thing, like go all the way with it, right? And the absence of actual justice in reality makes the catharsis of it like very profound, I feel, and ties into the story that he's telling about the changing of like Hollywood and figurative norms and the passing of like a certain age of innocence, if you will, like within that time period and whatnot. I think it all fits together and it's perfect. And the people that were getting mad at it, it's like, first of all, who the hell did you think you were watching? Kelly Reichardt? Yeah. Come on, what are we doing here?
The movies that Tarantino had put out, right? Like the last few. I mean, Django Unchained, which obviously is its own revisionist history of the antebellum South.
Yeah.
In its own way, right? Not the same way that something like Inglourious Basterds would be, but like it still is its own revisionist history of that time period. Then Inglourious Basterds, then Hateful Eight, which in its own way is like a period piece, even though it's and then this. Right. But the last paragraph. Atkins, gun in hand, stumbles outside, alarming Dalton, who was listening to the music on headphones, oblivious to the mayhem inside. Still hilarious. You fall.
Oh yeah. He's like,
it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that moment. Yeah, it's kind of like that moment from like Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Gina's just listening to music and there's like all this chaos in the background. I'm like, yeah, because she can't hear a damn thing. What's going on behind her?
It's always. I feel like that's a bit in a lot of things now where it's like somebody's listening to music and they can't hear whatever. They turn around and
Stan Lee in the one Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, sure.
Dalton retrieves a flamethrower he had kept from a film shoot and incinerates Atkins. By the way, the 14 Fits of McCluskey thing, they reference it again. I like that it's the bonding moment between Timothy Olyphant's, his character, who's like the hero of the show, and then they like that whole period. We didn't talk about when Rick Dalton kind of almost like a Steve McQueen stand-in, and he's daydreaming and he puts himself in The Great Escape.
That's great.
I know the feeling. I would put myself in Wicked for Good if I could, you know.
But
maybe you could save that picture.
Apparently that took months to perfectly replicate the texture and like the film stock of that moment.
It's very well done, and it's if you've ever seen that movie, it's like even more funny. Yeah, where it's like, oh, wow, okay, it's really good. And Kev, anything to add to the terminus here of the movie? Like the ending?
No, I mean, it is a bit of a fairy tale, right? I love the hangout, but I also love the bittersweet feeling of like, oh, right, in a fairy tale, good triumphs over evil, and that just isn't what happened on Cielo Drive that night. Right?
Yeah.
So, there is again that meta read makes it even more bittersweet because it's thinking about Tarantino going back in time and thinking about him growing up.
If he was able, he could have stopped. About Mark Wahlberg thinks he could stop that. He's probably like, you know what? I probably could have stopped those murders from happening. Which is why I don't understand why Sharon Tate's family did not. I'm like, come on, they're killing the people.
Steve McQueen literally did say like, if I was there, imagine like something different could have happened, and it's like, if I was Sharon Tate's family, I would be like, you know what? Yes, I don't think
but that's almost. But Forrest, the Steve McQueen thing, that almost sounds like the beginning of the story. I'm like, oh well, what if not Steve McQueen, but what if somebody like him was around?
Yeah,
and like that's maybe that was a jumping off point for all.
There's so much in this movie that of Hollywood at this time, right? Where it's like, I almost got the 14 Fists of McCluskey. I almost got The Great Escape. One thing could have been different. If someone broke their arm and I get to star in this movie that everyone's referencing now, or someone else, almost passed on it, right? Like there's all these things that are revisionist in the sense of like all these different people are considered for these roles, and then one of them gets it, and it's like that automatically starts this multi-pronged kind of like what if. But the last few sentences: Booth is taken to the hospital for injuries. Sebring engages Dalton in conversation, and Tate over the intercom invites Dalton up to her house for drinks, where there's still alive guests. Sebring, the Love Witch.
That's right.
Baby.
That's right.
Sorry,
Abigail Folger, who was she would have gone on to inherit the Folger fortune, and
produce incest commercials too, because that's a thing that they do for some reason.
And Wojciech, who I like the name of that guy is spelled WOJCICH or CCH, like so in my head I'm like Wojciech. But Wojciech.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's like I think it is a fairy tale, right? It's why it feels like it's his last movie. So it's like, all right, is he gonna maybe make this other one, or maybe he's not? Like, I don't know, whatever.
Like he's coming back for his real last movie, BB, A Life.
But I feel like if this was his last movie, it'd be perfect, because it's sort of like it's everything that like it's an homage to so many things that he loves in genre fare, and like just the ridiculousness of Hollywood and the ridiculousness of making movies, but also the wonderful aspect of it, and again how it's tied into the mythos of America and our culture and how things have put together, and it's it's remarkably like, look. It's weird for me to use the word adult in a movie that ends with a flamethrower battle, but I mean, it is compared to like some of his material, and it really is if you stop and think about it.
Next year, by the way, I'm trying to remember because it's not Tarantino that's gonna do it. It's David Fincher.
It's David Fincher's gonna do. Like, there's gonna be
a Cliff Booth.
I'll watch it. It's great.
Yeah. An acid dip cigarette. It's like 50 cents for an acid dip cigarette. His mind is like the one, because when you see things going on in Leonardo DiCaprio's mind, it's always speculative. Like it's him putting himself, he's daydreaming, he's putting himself, and he gets to embody in the end, right? Like the hero that he really wishes he was, and probably his life is better after this happens, sadly, or not so sadly, but he's kind of in incinerating her, right? Like he's gotten his ability to be like the hero of one of his.
Yeah, and
films.
he's probably going to be back on top professionally. But it's interesting because he is so, like you said, kind of in his head about things, and like Cliff is so materialist. He's just so like matter of fact. This is the way it is. Like he doesn't have the luxury of being dreamy and stuff and getting in his head on things if he wanted to.
It's just whatever happened. He's like, I'm thinking back on it, and then he's like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah, and it's a striking contrast between the two guys and like how they behave and interact with each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, Letterboxd, of course, is a film site, social media site for film lovers to talk out with and to each other about the movies they love, maybe the movies they didn't love, and maybe the movie review that's just going to be feet. It's just something referencing feet. Every other one for hours.
Feet.
Hours.
Tarantino, this is all your fault. If you didn't have such a foot fetish, all your movies wouldn't be Letterboxd reviewed about feet.
It's the third in our trilogy. Plane. Train.
Feet. And of course, this is all bottom-up democracy. Everyone gets to have their say, not just Siskel's and Eberts of the world. Everyone gets to chime and opine. Everyone gets to do this as best expressed for the purposes of this bit succinctly, where every week I painstakingly collect these bits for Forrest and the rest of the panel to react to. That's what this is. These are the Letterboxd one-liners for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Let's go. There was so much smoking in this, I think I developed lung cancer.
You're a regular Steve McQueen. By the way, I like that Tarantino had to in the end have him doing the red apple cigarettes, and he had to be like, these cigarettes taste like shit. To be like, see, I'm not doing a pro smoking movie. I'm not a pro smoking movie guy.
By the way, I love the background. Well done.
Behind the green door. It's a more recent one of the Muppet movies. But there's a Muppet movie. I can't remember which one it was. But they have a Tarantino cameo where he's pitching a story to Kermit, like pitching a movie to Kermit the
Frog. Did you just do one of those, Kev? Did you guys just do one of those?
The Muppet movies?
Yeah.
We did the Muppets 2011 earlier this year, which was
that's
infamous.
what I'm thinking of. All right,
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh, it's the Muppets Wizard of Oz, and
Yeah.
And then Tarantino, he's like, so this is what's gonna happen, and he's like, then they run in, and he's like, yeah, and he's like the sword, he's like having like the Dorothy and like fight the witch with like a samurai sword, and Kermit's like, I don't think so.
Yeah, everyone remembers that great classic scene from The Wizard of Oz when Quentin Tarantino is pitched a movie. In the middle of it.
Yes.
Really makes me think of that classic story from Frank L. Baum.
Yeah.
So the Wicked Witch comes out, and Dorothy's just like whoosh, takes out a samurai sword.
I think it was the Foot Wizard of Oz. There you go.
It's kind of fucked up. They went through. I heard they went through 5 different witches in the original Wizard of Oz because they kept getting sliced. They had to use a real sword. They didn't have a prop sword.
Maybe every film should have Leonardo DiCaprio using a flamethrower and torching a hippie alive.
They really hate hippies too the whole time, and like
Hey.
that kind of bummed me out a little bit because I'm like,
I could think of one movie that would be improved: The Muppets Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Okay.
we're off to see the wizard, good buddy.
By the way, tag Tarantino on this one too.
Oh.
Jeez.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes my job is harder than others. Accidentally got too invested in this and literally pulled out my phone halfway through to look up Rick Dalton's Wikipedia page.
Oh, so Tarantino actually released I think it was a novel in the end, but he wrote these novels where one of them was just explaining to Leonardo DiCaprio. Like I don't think he ended up publishing one of them. That's like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood like novelization or whatever, and it's read by what's her name? Well, whatever, but it's read by what's her name from
Good old what's her name?
Hateful Eight. Yeah, good old.
All right, we can circle back to this later.
Yeah, but it's a novelization that they have. of the actual story. Yeah, Jennifer Jason Leigh. I don't know why I couldn't think of Jennifer Jason Leigh. I know
Jennifer Jason Leigh, the Zionist.
But she read the audiobook version of this for people that I guess wanted to read the novelization. But he wrote one that's just the entire film career of Rick Dalton. Like he wrote like it out as if it's like a biography of him.
Nice. That's it. We lived in. This movie reminds me of when Mark Wahlberg was like, "I would have stopped 9/11." There we go.
Which is it's the Steve McQueen.
Yeah, it's the same. We've talked about that like 7 times. It's clever now.
Sharon Tate might have made her Great Escape.
Dudes rock.
Dudes rock, good buddy.
Yep.
But
was on for Nashville? Was that what he was on? He was on for Nashville, right? Yeah, I think so.
So he's yeah. He was on for Nashville, and then he was like,
"What's he been doing?"
He runs like a movie studio.
I think he's making movies.
Yeah. They made one that's the story of I'm Facebook friends with them too, but Facebook friends with the guy the movie was about. I mean, he's like the British kid that went to Syria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe he saw a show with Anna Kasparian. Crazy, weird.
I love it, but I wish that Margot Robbie had a big old Tarantino monologue. That would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This review is by Alan Arkush, the director of the Ramones Rock and Roll High School.
That's correct, and I had that be a surprise because he's also a Letterboxd friend of mine.
Amazing.
And I know
I didn't mean to spoil the surprise.
No, the surprise was for you. So there you go. Surprise.
Hell yeah. Amazing.
We
also,
by the way, if people don't follow Alan, a really great follow, especially if you forget that you follow him and then he just shows up. It's great.
Yeah, he's got some bangers in there.
We had Joseph Bride on, who obviously was one of the screenwriters of Rock and Roll High School, and we invited him to do Rock and Roll High School as an episode, and then he never got back to us.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
I don't think he wanted to, but he said he did want to.
Well, and Alan's also hooked up with Joe Dante. That's how we got Michael Lehman on the show. Anyway, whatever. Moving on. That's Alan Arkush. That's a Rock and Roll High School favorite of mine. The only thing I knew about this going in was a stray text in a group chat that said Roman Polanski dresses like Austin Powers. And reader, I was not disappointed. That was for you also.
I love that fit. The cravat, hysterical.
Yep.
Rosemary's Baby, baby. Yeah, baby. You know who that was?
That baby is not all right, baby.
You're like, you know who that was? That was Austin Polanski.
I want to live in this movie. I don't even care if it says Brad Pitt's dog.
I mean, that dog outside every day. It just doesn't listen. I don't know if I'm that good at listening, but
I mean, I would mind living in this movie considering, the murders don't happen. So
right, exactly. It's a little on the safer side
what
by
could
comparison.
have been,
Anyway, those are the Letterboxd one-liners for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Please follow the show on our Letterboxd HQ account at Movie Night Extra, where we post up stuff from all the great episodes that we do on this very show, 10-minute short-form content, supplemental materials, all that good stuff at Movie Night Extra, Letterboxd HQ. Forrest, don't cry in front of the Mexicans at Always Flacco. You can follow him at Letterboxd, and he's logging all the stuff that we're doing in this show, so much more.
Don't log movies in front of the Mexicans.
Wow. I'm as real as a donut. By the way, I love that line, by the way. As real as a donut. What? At Conan Neutron. You can follow me on Letterboxd. Highbrow, Midbrow, Populsphere. You can follow along for the Criterion Challenge 2026. Already in swing for me, but that's something I do every year. I highly recommend people do it as well. And you can follow along. We can compare notes. A few other challenges that are on the way. Big Five, that was a Pat Healy joint. I decided to go in on that, where you just complete a filmography of somebody that you like, at least one movie of. Somebody at Satoshi Kon, Mike Mills, Lynn Ramsey. I can't remember the other two, but it's looking forward to it.
That's great.
Should be good. Yeah. And I guess I could have looked that up beforehand, but that's not how this bit works. Gonna make me say it, huh? All right, Kristina, I love pussy down there. Adam, Kristina.
I do. Okay.
Sure.
My sister doesn't think, apparently.
There's got a lot of pussy behind the green door.
Exactly. You can find her behind the green door and a letterbox, Adam, Kristina. You can follow along for all the stuff that she's logging coming up. Kev is on Letterboxd as well, Shoeless of the Movies. Was it Kev Forever or something along those lines? Is
No, I am
what's
Kev. I am just Kev.
Just Kev. Wow.
He's
K-E-V,
just
Letterboxd.
Kev.
I'm just Kev.
We do this,
and
we
I'm
do this
Kev
every
off.
time. He somehow got the Kev username. Like,
Somehow.
yeah.
Yes.
Crazy.
He's just Kev. In any other world, he'd be at 12. Anyway. Let's hit with the plugs, please. So we get the final
If
thought.
you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, you can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership, but getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra where we're putting up short form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
Yeah, well, this week is the top records of the year. Top 25 of 2025. That episode is up and out. It's also in all the various places, playlists, attendant links to buy everything. So if you want to check out some new music, which people tell me that they do every year from doing these episodes, which are a huge pain to put together. So I'm really glad to hear that because I kind of tend to hate life and everything and maybe music until I'm done with it. Then I'm happy to have it done. So that's the last podcast of the year for Protonic Reversal. A bunch of cool stuff coming up after this week, so we're going to be looking for that at protonicreversal.com. $1 a month, patreon.com/Protonic Reversal for advanced access for that stuff. Going to be back on a regular schedule at least until March, which then we'll be back to Secret Friends all the time. Speaking of Secret Friends, code Neutron, the Secret Friends, neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Way the Neutron has showed up in a couple best of lists of the year, which I really appreciate. So thanks for folks doing that. Thanks for folks checking it out. Available to stream in all the places. There's a good amount of tour merch that's gone up. I haven't really said anything about it, but there's some like leftover shirts and things along those lines. Of course, vinyl and CDs always available. They'll arrive not in 3 weeks since it isn't Christmas time anymore. So it's a good time to. It's actually a pretty good time to buy now. And 3 cool things coming up for spring. Can't speak about any of them. I will say we'll be back on the West Coast in March for some pretty cool stuff. And when there's something to share, I'll share. Big things coming, as everybody likes to say, right? Big things coming.
Yeah.
Also, Joachim Trier and Celine Sciamma.
I'm moving in silence. Hey guys, I'm moving in silence.
The other 2 of my big 5 are Joachim Trier and Celine Sciamma. For people that just like you only name 3 of them. You know, I don't want to be like Rick Perry, not being able to name the other 2 on my big 5 list. Secret third thing. Anyway, tune in for all that. Caterball advance passes going on in the next few weeks or something. I don't know exactly when. In the new year, which we all will live. Kristina, what do you got?
I didn't do much streaming because I had to do a lot of walking because our car battery had to get replaced and it took forever. Literally miles, guys, to and back.
So
I've been very tired and my asthma was really like hating me.
Hey, you walked 500 miles. I'd be tired too.
Yeah. How many years? How many miles was it? Wait, Peter, Paul, Mary kick right now. Gonna be doing
I heard at least one of
Before
them.
you can jump a car.
I heard
Yeah.
Leonardo, in the Epstein file. No, he wasn't. He
I mean, he did some stuff, but anyway. So I really haven't been streaming. Looking for goods out in digital. So I've only watched it 3 times so far since midnight yesterday.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, today technically.
Slacking.
And yeah,
we're not covering that till February, right? Okay.
I know, but I'm still good. I'm still in my Wicked era. But also, Forrest and Conan's gonna be coming on tomorrow on Absurdity Space.
Oh, that's right. I'm gonna be
best of the best.
So your new show, Absurdity Space. I'm gonna be on as a guest. So it's basically just gonna be this show.
Yeah. So we're
And that's my New Year's stream afterwards. I'm gonna get hammered because I got 2 bottles of Tito's vodka that are waiting for me.
Oh wow.
You should. Really?
Yikes.
Wait, what about
Yikes.
Tito's that you got on deck?
Mhm.
I have.
Yum.
Tito's-
Oh my
I
god,
have
that's the
Tito's waiting for-
smoothest vodka I've ever had.
I have Tito's waiting for me actually downstairs. Tito's and Gatorade waiting for me downstairs
Wow.
to do the after party tonight.
Yeah.
So,
So I think we're gonna kind of advance some of our lists for best performances, best picture, records. We get lists, I guess. So
Yeah, we're gonna do like a couple lists. Probably best director. We should probably do
Yeah.
that one too. And do some lists and review the year in picture. The year in pictures, kid. And after this, we're gonna be doing an after party. Kev, you're welcome to join the after party for it's gonna be an hour. We're gonna just
in case this
talk
is too
about,
strictly structured for you.
we're gonna talk about. I mean, we all saw Marty Supreme, which I know you have too.
I let Nicole, Timothy's mom, know that I enjoyed it. She appreciated it.
Waiting for your opinion.
You walked to go see it.
Oh, yeah.
No, we actually finally got the car battery fixed. I mean, it was the thing is, it could have been free, but the warranty had gone up. They're like, yeah, this is a battery from Walmart. What's
So as soon as the car battery got fixed, you went. I'm going to see Marty Supreme.
I could have walked there because the movie theater.
Yeah.
But we also saw Blue Moon. Well, Forrest and I did anyway. And if I'd lazy kick you, so we're gonna talk about that, and one can imagine so much more. As we...
If I had legs, I kick you. Otherwise known as the 14 legs of McCluskey.
That's idiotic. All right. Anything else, Kristina?
Gonna try to keep streaming more, and that's pretty much about it. Got nothing else really. Alpha. I'm gonna be working on my Alphaba cosplay.
Excited.
Outfit came.
We got thanks again
Excited.
for making me smile during 2025, and I'm gonna screenshot this one, and for helping me check out some amazing movies. Take care, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kev, do you have anything going on? Anything you want to plug?
Do I ever? Well, folks probably know about Austin Danger Podcast now and forever, the only randomly curated Austin Powers podcast on the internet. We are currently on the Honda Day hiatus, which is our kind of Christmas break. We will be returning, January 12th with Avatar: Fire and Ash. So very excited.
What's the connection? Wait, what's the Austin Powers Avatar connection?
I fucking love Avatar. That is the connection.
Okay.
I'm more of
love
a Titanic and Aliens gal, honestly.
I contain multitudes.
In 3, I guess 3 Avatar movies too, but in 3 Austin Powers movies, like there has to be somebody. There has to be somebody somewhere that was on set.
No, they all connect. I just haven't looked yet. Look, I look at that stuff at like 8:29 and we record at 8:30. So we'll find out on January 12th. You and I can find out together.
Like the music's starting to play. Like, I better look up the connection.
The French Connection.
So that's EDP. We're back January 12th, but also this Friday, the first episode of my new podcast, Laurie Strode Trap House, which I do with my friend Anna Gould. And it is a podcast ostensibly about the 21st century horror films.
Nice.
So we'll go through the horror movies of the 21st century, like from The Asylum to Blumhouse to A24 and back, and everything in between. Things I have discovered movies that would like melt your brain if you knew half of them, and they all star Eric Roberts. So,
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, tied it back.
it's
I
amazing.
was gonna ask if human centipedes on the list of
Yeah,
Human
he was in
Centipede
like
is on
the
the
third
list?
one where he's like the president or something. Or I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Well,
Wow.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. Anna Ghoul is a treasure, so I'm sure that's going to be great.
One of the
Oh,
best.
wait. $5
Thanks, Stevie.
super chat. Great movie, great live stream.
Appreciate you.
Great movie, great live stream, great 14 fists of McCluskey.
There you go.
The 14
Yeah,
super chats of McCluskey.
that's it. I think ADP and Loisha Trap House and Substack.com/KevForever. Who knows? Maybe that'll be updated this week. Who could say? I'm trying.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
log
someone to know.
besides on Letterboxd? Do you log on Substack like whatever you
No,
want?
not yet. Not yet.
All right, yeah, because I've thought about that. I have a movie night extravaganza Substack and then just it's completely blank.
Yeah, we got a lot of things that we don't update.
Yeah,
Saved my life.
I didn't even-
For as busy as we are.
I didn't even end up doing the basic where you go, oh, I'll update it once. I didn't even I just made one and kept it blank. And forgot about it till right now.
There you go.
But Kev, do you have final thoughts on whatever movie we covered? I don't know.
This was the
Let's find
episode
out.
apparently about the crimes of Charles Manson.
Charles Manson? Yeah, it's a can't be right.
His biggest crime was going.
Exactly.
Scott
Red Hot
Van
Chili
John, rest in
Peppers.
peace.
But Charles Manson in the Anthony Kiedis role. I think it go a little something like this. Exactly. Scatman John. Now that's a hell of a story. Let me tell you.
God, I love Scott
I'm the
Van John.
Manson.
We'll get into it in the after party. All right. Tell us your final thoughts on this film, please, Kev.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What can I say? I absolutely love it. In my opinion, Tarantino, one of my problematic faves, hasn't missed once, in my opinion. And this is up there for me. I absolutely love it. I think it's incredible.
Fantastic Manson Kiedis.
Manson
I
Kiedis.
didn't, that's what I was laughing at. It's good. What's good on Stevie?
I
Good
mean,
on you.
Flea kind of sounds like it could be a Manson get
Yeah,
Flea in
yeah,
there.
yeah. Get him. He'll sort right out.
Kristina, final thoughts.
This is my favorite Tarantino movie. I mean, this movie has everything, a true crime that kind of stuck with me as a child. Margot Robbie. And yeah, that's about it. I love it. I mean, no,
Margot Robbie,
really.
send sweet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's it. I mean, if there was, I mean, I don't think there could have been an actress more perfect to portray her.
Agree.
And also the new era of Hollywood is here, and they
Right.
were the Manson family in this movie. So
It's a trip,
fucking
man.
it's so crazy. It's like 50
Manson
people.
family. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da.
I'm looking forward
I
to
will
the
not
Cliff
participate in
Booth spinoff too. That should be interesting.
Yeah. I had something that I wanted to say. No, I don't remember. I had a. Oh, well, I thought when you said this movie is everything. You're into the Bill Hader on SNL, and he's like, this club is everything. This movie is everything.
Okay.
Charles-
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Charles Manson.
Stefan.
Yeah.
Keep before your nose. This film has everything. Manson family, feet.
Conan, you get the last final thought of the year.
That's right. Of the year. That's right. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
very-
This.
make it good.
Yeah. Make it good. All right. Yeah. Don't choke. Very enjoyable. Very rewarding rewatch. I think this is a love letter to Los Angeles and a classic era of filmmaking that has long since passed. As I said earlier, it's a good reminder that Sharon Tate had a life, vitality, and career beyond just being a
Right.
murder victim.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really cool to see that portrayed. It all works at several different levels. I think there's a lot of good stuff in here about peaking in a career and also being an also ran or never was. Or I think anybody that's creative can identify with that. A lot of melancholic reflection on legacy, career, and purpose.
Wait, what?
Lots of melon and
That's
cock.
for the after party. As I mentioned, there's a lot of that Howard Hawks style hangout happening that Quentin Tarantino is known for. And there's something about that makes it very inviting. Not the Manson family parts, but the
There's
rest.
something about Mary, you know.
The Bruce Lee section still annoying, unnecessary. It didn't bother me nearly as much this time. This really does feel like a final movie to me. I guess it isn't, but I think it'd be totally fine with it if it was. And I think it's like
Tarantino's having fun out there in Tel Aviv, you know.
I think it's a confident and highly enjoyable watch. It was great to cover it. Are we gonging out the show? Is that what we're doing?
Gong, gong, gong.
Because I get it.
Hey, you know, without Eleanor Rigby, the thong song would not have existed.
This podcast has everything. A gong.
Cisco said so.
bits about the 14 Fists of McCluskey.
It's the violin, it's the strings that got.
We are going.
Kev, thank you for entering the Terror Dome once again. I always appreciate you.
This was a wild one, I'll say. Thank you. It is always. I will say it is always a pleasure. This one, man, the energy in here was crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's the last of the energy in the after party. I mean, join the after,
We're not up to 10.
Sedate and studious by comparison.
It's the end. It's the end of the year. You know, school's about to be out.
Senior writers.
School's about to be out for summer. So you know,
enough.
join us on the.
Did you say what we're gonna start off next year with? Did we say that yet?
Indie movie.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. They don't want me to say it, but I'm gonna say it.
They don't want me to say it.
It's like this really like niche, small indie film.
Small,
we really want to like,
release.
give it a lot of attention.
Should I say it? Should I say no? Should I say it? Okay.
It's a little small indie film.
Little small indie film called Citizen Kane.
But we want to promote it. Maybe get more people to see it.
We're gonna have
a filmmaker.
I'm excited that Eileen Jones is coming on for that because I think she's taught classic film for a while, so I'm gonna be fascinated to hear her thoughts on it. But we are going to be over in the after party. Come to the after party, come to the club. Bring all 14 Fists of McCluskey if you want to. That sounds like a band that you would be in the.
We're gonna be signing fists at.
Oh my god, that's your band name.
So it's gonna be like Conan, Neutron, your friends opening for the 14 Fists of McCluskey.
I mean, I have toured with actual McCluskey twice too, which makes it even funnier.
But only one of them though.
Yeah, no, there was as far as I know, there's only 6 fists in that band because they're a 3-piece. So.
Yeah, but so we're gonna be over there in about 10 minutes. Come join us. I threw the link in the chat. The classic. It's a trap. It's not a trap. Join us over there.
No, it's a Laurie show.
Yes.
God.
Yeah, there we go.